Sylvan Park, a crash, 440 westbound before Murphy Road. South Nashville, accident blocking the right shoulder, 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Woodbine, a crash, 24 westbound after I-440. And in West Nashville, a crash, off-ramp partially blocked, 40 westbound of 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
So it'll be the first thing on the list. Yeah, please.
Hello, friends. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How's my volume in there, Jackson? Sounds very low in here. Very low in here. You know I get all discombobulated. I get itchy. All right, sound good in there.
Fine, Brother Murphy.
Well, thank you very much, Ken Weaver. I appreciate that. There's Ken Weaver. He's the reason that people come here this afternoon to listen to the news, and occasionally they'll hang on for me to blab my mouth for a few minutes, and then they want to listen to Ken Weaver's newscast again, and that's the way we do that on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. He's over in News Closet B, gathering headlines and thrilling us with his acumen. There's Jackson Williams, who is not. He is in. I'm glad you seem like you've bounced back nicely, Jackson,
Yes,
from
sir.
yesterday's. I feel like you were a little depressed yesterday.
Well, I won big at a poker game last night, but I haven't heard back from any of my buddies I played with. I wonder what's been going on with them.
Bunch of tall fellas.
Yes.
Bunch of tall fellas and some other fellas with track suits on.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My Italian friends and then my my friends who play basketball.
Well, good luck with that there, Jackson. I hope you
I'm
hope
going to jail.
I hope they Venmo you your cash that you won from the game last evening. Yeah, we'll talk about that at some point over the course of the day.
It's all going to my Swiss bank account.
You know, I don't know that I have any insight on this, but I can tell you this. Of the three of us, I bet I'm the only person that has sat down and played at an illegal poker game.
I have not done that.
Jackson?
You don't know what I've done.
No, hold on. I want to isolate this. Say it a slightly different. Say, Matt Murphy, you have no idea what I'm capable of.
Matt Murphy, you have no idea what I'm capable of.
You know what? That's the damn truth.
You got to isolate that. That's got to be a hot key, man.
That's exactly when I get a caller on the line that's coming at me.
Yeah.
Matt Murphy, you have no idea what I'm capable of. I know this that some of those poker games that you get into, you got to watch them, man. I was talking to Jackson right before we came on the air, Ken, and the biggest issue with trying to find a good poker game around Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm not making this up because I don't want to do anything illegal, but it's not illegal to host a poker game so long as you're not taking a rake.
Ah.
Right? When the house starts taking a rake, that's what makes it an illegal activity. So, Ken, if you wanted to invite Matt Murphy and, 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 of your best friends over to your home in Murfreesboro and, deal out some cards and have a good and play for cash money, that's fine. That is your prerogative. There's nothing illegal about that. But it becomes illegal when the house starts taking a rake in some form or fashion. And I think that's the case in Kentucky, but there's a place up just across the state line in Kentucky where they don't allow you to take a rake, but what you can do is rent seats, which is different than taking a rake. A rake is a percentage of each pot. So, the pot gets to a certain amount and the house is going to take back, like say it's a $20 pot, they'll take back $1 or whatever the percentage is and give that back to the house for the cost of hosting the game, for the cost of the light bill and all of those sorts of things. Same if you go into a casino. They do these things legally all over the United States of America. But anyway, we'll perhaps discuss that. I probably know more about this than I should. We'll discuss that.
I was getting ready to say.
No, I don't go, you don't you learn if you enjoy poker
Yes, sir.
you learn that you don't go to a room, you don't go to a gambling, not a gambling establishment. I mean, if it's an official like casino or whatever, that's one thing. But you don't go to somebody's house that you don't know and sit down and play poker without trying to figure out whether it's legit or not, because there's a lot of these places that they rig the game and they look for fish.
Yeah.
And they bring you in and, they're friendly as can be to you. And, 5 hours later, you've lost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and you walk out and you're never the wiser that the entire thing was rigged against you. Now, I'm not saying that this goes on a lot, but it goes on. But this thing was interesting because it's my understanding they rigged you have a card shuffler at these fancier establishments at any casino game that you play. They'll have a card shuffler, automatic card shuffler, where the dealer will put the cards in the card shuffler and hit a button, and it'll shuffle cards, and it'll have another deck in there, and that deck's ready to go when the other deck's being shuffled. And apparently what they were doing is that they had a camera system in that shuffler, and so as it gave the cards out to the individual players, it was recording what those cards were, sending that to somebody in the sky, and then they were letting their moles at the table know when they should bet big and when they shouldn't, when they should hold back, when they should fold, and that sort of thing. I mean, that's
Tony Soprano stuff right there, brother.
that is high-level Goodfellas type crap, man. That is awesome. And these NBA boys, I don't know whether they're in on it or not in on it, whether they're the fish or they're a part of the rig. I mean, you bring an NBA guy in and you burn him for $20,000 based on his desire to compete, and he's not going to notice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making $25 million a year or whatever.
Well, and what if the NBA guy just thought, this is just me making an appearance?
Well, right. And they want him at the game, and so they're going to give me a couple of bucks to be at the game. Has no idea the game's rigged. And, and maybe they don't skin him for too much cash, but they got these other big whales in the room that are multimillionaires or multi-gajillionaires or whatever, and here we go. Now, it's a big that's why gambling should be legal, by the way, to prevent black market, janky-ass stuff like this. I mean, you legalize it, you can regulate it, you can have an authority, and I understand that those authorities are ripe for corruption as well, but at very least, those authorities are above board, and you can try to figure out what's going on, what's not going on, and you can set up the rules of the game so everybody understands what they're doing, which is why I've never had a problem with gambling, and I do not believe that gambling should be illegal in any of the 50 states. And if you tell me, it's a net negative on society, anything and everything can be a net negative on society, and I'm happy to have that conversation with you. You own you. Your money is a fruit of what? Your own labor, your own work. How dare the government of the United States of America or any other institution tell you that you cannot use the fruit of your labor in a manner of your choosing? And it's not for the government to tell you that how you are living your life is in some way negative for you and your family. That's up to you and your community and your church organizations. I could go on and on. I don't want to get too philosophical about it so early in the show, but I do not believe that a government should be big enough to be allowed to tell you what you are allowed to do with your own money so long as you are not harming other people. So long as you are not harming other people, and it's so long as you understand the inherent dangers in the activity that you're participating in. Skydiving, auto racing, scuba diving, gambling, whatever. All right, so 615-737-9986. We'll open up the phone lines at some point over the... Oh, we're always open. I mean, let's be honest. I love having conversations with you. I love getting into discussions with you about this or any other topic of your choosing, and so we will do that throughout the course of the afternoon. We absolutely love it. 615-737-9986. Don't forget, disagreement goes to the front of the line. If you disagree with me on any subject, I'll be pleasant with you. We can disagree without being disagreeable. Right, Jackson?
I'm just trying to figure out my legal situation. What's Jay's number? I'm going to need a lot more than $140 and a crayon, let me tell you that.
You thought you had it good, did you, Jackson? You're in with all the...
It was all caviar and Italian subs, bud.
Caviar and Italian subs. You know what? When I think of the mafia, that's what I think of. Caviar and Italian subs.
I'm going to prison.
Are you now?
Oh, this ain't going to be good.
You're going to be somebody's girlfriend, Jackson. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you. Jackson, all I can tell you is when you get there, just find the biggest SOB on the block and just slug him one. Just let him. You got to establish your territory with authority early. Let them know that they might get to you, but it ain't going to be easy.
I hope I go to white collar jail.
Me too, Jackson. Me too. For your sake, I do. I think there's one over in. Oh, I could get you a contact. What was the? Oh gosh, what's the guy's name? He ran for the 7th congressional district race. Oh, Stuart Parks. We could get you in contact with Stuart Parks. He went to the joint over there in Memphis, I think.
Wait.
He was a Jan 6 guy. He got pardoned by the President of the United States. So yeah, he was in the joint. He could probably give you some tips. Oh, I know. One of the things he told us when he was in here in studio, this is before you and I became a thing. He said, make sure you have money for the commissary, but don't tell anybody. Because, you can trade items from the commissary, like smokes and whatnot. High dollar value item in the joint. Maybe some of our loyal listeners on the super text line can give you some advice as well. Anyway, the President of the United States is speaking right now. I feel like we could jip this. Give me there it is. I'm going to join the. I'm going to get our video up and running here, Jackson, and we'll maybe offer some of this to the listening audience early on. The President of the United States is sitting with Attorney General Pam Bondi. Oh, we'll talk to the Attorney General of the state of Tennessee coming up in about 15 or so minutes. Jonathan Skrmetti will join us. We'll tell you all about that in a moment. But right now, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, is sitting to Donald Trump's right. Attorney General Pam Bondi is sitting to Donald Trump's left. And here, let's see what the President of the United States might be saying.
It's beautiful because it's sports. You can tell somebody right away, are they good or are they not? These people are the most talented people at what they do. And when we started talking about this, Stephen and all of us, it seems so easy. What is surprising to me is how quickly we can straighten out a large city, a big city, a mean city, a city that's sick, that got very sick with guns all over the place, with bullets shooting all over. Where you take your life in your hands if you go out and buy a loaf of bread. That's not America. That's not our country. And those people don't care how you do it. They just want it done. They really do. When you go to the people in the street, they don't know. Is it National Guard? They just want it done. They want to be safe. And we've gained a great following of Americans, real Americans, people that want to be safe. But I think the biggest thing we say is we have tremendous talent. We were able to recognize, like a football team, like a baseball team, we were able to recognize the talent. And the talent is largely in this room for the whole country. It's largely in this room. There's really nothing like it. And that's why I think we had D.C. done, not perfectly, but pretty much done, at least normalized in 12 days. Would you say 12 days? On the 12th day, it felt different. And we took a lot of bad people out, never to come back again. Then most of them never to come back again. But there's great talent and there's also great courage. I've been watching what goes on, and then you have the radical left lunatics, and what's that all about? I mean, they're fighting us because we want to stop crime. Where do these people come from? They're paid money. I guess they're paid a lot of money. But like I saw that ridiculous march the other day, I say, these people are not representative of our country. And not all of them, of course, but many of them are total lowlifes. These are lowlifes. These are people that are paid agitators, and they're not representative of our country. So I don't know. I can just tell you that our country has tremendous spirit right now. You know that better than anybody because you cover it well. But we have a lot of people that are very happy right now with the direction. They did a poll the other day. The direction of our country is better than it's been in 37 years. And I'm upset because I think it should be better than that. I actually said we should be better than that. So, thank you very much for your question. Brian?
Mr. President, yes. Thank you, Mr. President. You guys have done an amazing job in Memphis. Some of those numbers are staggering, and we've gotten message on social media wanting to thank you for that. But I think, can you talk about the number of missing children you guys have discovered in Memphis? That's amazing.
Well, it's hundreds of thousands were lost through Biden and the Biden administration, and we are getting a lot of them back, but they're either dead, they're slaves, they're captured in some form. But think of it, hundreds of thousands we're talking about, not even believable. And they came in through the border, they were sold, they were bargained for, and this was all Biden, meaning Biden and Obama, the same mentality, frankly. I think it's the same mentality. Let me tell you, Barack Hussein Obama was a lousy president. A lot of bad things happened. Remember when they used to talk about Trump with the jail cells? Well, he built the jail cells for the children. He built those jail cells. Remember that came out? But, sir, they were built in 2014. You remember when that came out? After me going through that stuff for about 2 weeks, and then they found out it was Barack Obama that built those jail cells. No, these people they were bad leaders. I hope we don't have it again. I hope we don't have it again because, our country's come back a long way, but it can only withstand so much, and we don't want to ever go through that again. We never want to have open borders again. We don't want to have men playing in women's sports. We don't want to have transgender for everybody. We don't want that. We want to have a great country with low interest rates, nice housing, great education, a strong military, the basics. Yes, please.
In last night's New York City mayoral debate, Zohran Mamdani said he would close Rikers Island if elected. What kind of impact would that have on public safety?
Well, it's not good. I guess it's not a very nice place, but you need it. You need something. You have a lot of additional people in New York City that should not have been here. They came here through the open border, through Biden's. I don't know how they even do it. New York City's always been tight for money. And then they spend, $8 billion, and nobody complains about it, on people that just showed up and they just came out of nowhere. Where did they get the money? All of a sudden they have money. I tell you what, we have to keep our prisons very fair and very safe, but you get a lot of criminals. We have a lot of additional criminals. I used to talk about it. They used to say, well, only good people come in from foreign countries. I said, that's not right. I didn't know that for a fact, but it had just started, right? The open borders and people flowing in.
All right, so the President of the United States is speaking right now at the White House. Obviously, he was delivering some, and we missed a few of those numbers. He was delivering numbers out of Memphis, Tennessee. I wanted to try to catch that. As he continues his remarks, we will continue to monitor said remarks, and we'll get back to him if time allows. Right now, 23 after the hour, you're listening to The Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Alpha and Omega. Michael and his team want to help you and your team as business owners succeed. He wants to help you be more productive by taking over all of the aspects of your IT, and you never have to worry about it again. Alpha and Omega is not new. They've been around since 1998. Their services include 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week protection from evolving threat, compliance for all industry, business continuity, and a fast and local help desk. 70%. Now, think about this. 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. And if you would consider yourself a small to medium-sized business, you might not consider yourself a target, but you are. You just don't hear about these attacks because, well, you're a small or medium-sized business. Whether you're in the medical field, the financial industry, whatever your business might be, your time is so valuable, so important. You know that well. Let's not take it up by dealing with emails or dealing with computer issues or dealing with cyber hacks. Let Alpha and Omega handle all aspects of your IT. Call them today to sit down and talk to them about an IT contract. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or A&O.net. That's A&O.net.
A convicted sex offender has been arrested after being where he shouldn't have been and taking pictures. Details at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Seems like some good things happening over in Memphis, and sadly, we recognize that there is child trafficking going on in the United States of America. And obviously, with the takeover in Memphis, with the governor's approval, Donald Trump, the National Guard, and the resources provided by the federal government are now delving into that in Memphis, Tennessee, and recognizing that, I mean, they found, I think it's over 50 verified children that were not in homes where their parents were. These were abducted or otherwise missing children. And Donald Trump made reference to the fact that we believe that there are not tens of thousands, but potentially hundreds of thousands of these individuals. 0472 has written in and said, I think I worry that the children are abducted or harmed. Children are abducted and sold, and teenagers are taken and used in sex trade, which is growing rapidly all over the world. Yeah, well, I mean, it's true, and we are not immune from it, sadly, particularly because our borders were so porous for so many years. It seems like Donald Trump is aware of that, and that's a good thing. And look, Memphis could become, in addition to Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. is a different animal, obviously, because it is a district of Columbia that is that's governed by the federal government. The federal government makes allowances for local politicians to deal with the local issues involving the city that cropped up around the politicians that make up Washington, D.C. But that said, Donald Trump obviously has the authority to handle crime where Muriel Bowser and the local D.C. police would not. Well, in Memphis, Donald Trump necessarily needed, and I think he recognizes this around the country, he needed a governor to give him certain levels of authority over the National Guard, which Governor Bill Lee most certainly did. And now we're watching the cleanup happen in real time in Memphis. Will it come without its own set of problems? Of course it will not. But let me assure you of this. Men and women in uniform in Memphis are not the problem. There was I've got an op-ed piece that I'm going to share with you after we talk to A.G. Skermetti out of the Tennessean that is just a load of garbage. It is worth the paper that it was written on. And oh, by the way, they don't write it on paper anymore, so you can tell what it was worth. But it's all about, the National Guard. This columnist, I forget what his name was, David White, I think, was actually suggesting that the National Guard is the problem in Memphis. Do you not realize that we have eyes and ears that we can see and hear what's been going on in Memphis for the last 40 years? Come on now. Come on now. All right, time for news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN back with A.G. Skermetti right after this.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says a convicted sex offender's been arrested after being spotted multiple times at a Berry Hill dog park where there were children. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett.
Police arrested Louis Shaneberg. Witnesses say they saw him visiting Fair Park on Bransford Avenue, right there near the fairgrounds, this month. And at the time, several children were there. The witnesses say he would frequently take pictures in the park. Shaneberg was convicted for 6 crimes against a minor in 2008 and for attempted rape in 1997. It is against the law for any sexual offender to be in a public place where children under 18 are believed to be present.
Yeah, he was booked into the Metro Jail on a $75,000 bond. NBA scandal linked to the mob. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavs player and coach Damon Jones among more than 30 people, including purported organized crime figures, charged in what federal prosecutors described as 2 schemes on illegal sports betting and high-tech poker cheating. ABC's Chuck Severson.
Using their status as ex-players, Billups and Jones lured victims to poker games where secret card-reading, wireless tech, and signals to a conspirator at the table helped others cheat, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nisella.
The defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game.
He says NBA inside non-public information about league athletes and teams was used to attract wagers. The NBA says Billups and Heat player Terry Rozier are placed on leave as the league cooperates with investigators.
That case goes back to 2019. Lower mortgage rates have reignited the housing market, pushing U.S. home sales to their fastest pace in 7 months. Prices rising, but inventories improving. Here in Middle Tennessee, News 2 says realtors report a surge in showings, over 142,000 last week alone, as rates hover around 6.1, 6.2%, the lowest seen this year. Buyers who were previously hesitant are now entering the market with more confidence. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Sylvan Park, a crash, 440 westbound after Murphy Road. In Woodbine, we got a crash, 24 westbound after I-440. West Nashville, crash, off-ramp partially blocked, 40 westbound to 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, exit 205. It is complete stop and go eastbound 440 over to 24. Eastbound South Loop over to 65. And then for a bit, it is stop and go eastbound East Loop downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
You know, for a little bit of time, I've been listening to Dan Mandis and Chad Benson talk to you about the incredible red light technology that's available at Contours LLC, and I had to go by and see it for myself, and now I have. Located in Cool Springs, these guys are in a class by themselves. I love it. I love everything about it. If you are interested in getting off some weight from areas that just won't, you just can't do it. You're invested in getting healthier, but you've got body fat in places that just won't go away. It's stubborn. That's what we call it. Well, Keith and Stephanie and the rest of the team at Contours LLC, they've got solutions for you. Red light technology to reduce body fat naturally in a non-invasive form. Fat loss with no incisions, no downtime, no pain, or no complications. I've gone through the first treatment process, and it was a spa environment. It was, if you've ever had a massage, it was like you're in a massage room, except a masseuse is not giving you the massage on your body. It's red light technology doing the work. For $99, you can go in, you can visit for one visit, and they can talk to you about the number of visits that it will take to get you to where you want to be. What have you got to lose but inches? ContoursLLC.com. That's ContoursLLC.com. Go ahead and make the call that so many others have made. Men and women, you can go together as a couple. 615-236-9960. That's 615-236-9960. And tell the team at Contours that Matt Murphy sent you to Contours LLC. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. It was my turn. You pointed at me. That means me talk? Okay, I'll talk now. Defend Systems. I want to talk about these guys. Brink Fiddler and his team at Defend Systems are so incredible at what they've been able to do over the last, I don't know how many years they've been in business now. They've been here since I've been here, and that's over 4 years. But what they are doing, they're not here to scare you. They're not here to freak you out about the world that we live in. They're just here to help you, to help get you prepared in the unlikely event that you should encounter a negative circumstance in your place of business or really any place that people gather. We're talking about life safety. We're talking about security. We're talking about active shooters in your workplace. We're talking about workplace violence, generally speaking, or site survey and threat assessment for your business, security improvement consultation, emergency and intruder action plans, and, of course, rapid response medical training. That rapid response medical, I should note, the training that I've gone through with Brink Fiddler, I've gone through our Cumulus Nashville company went through this training, which I would highly recommend. But I've also been through the TECC course that Brink teaches. Brink and his team teach, I guess, once or twice a year. So valuable, not just for violent situations, but also for medical situations like automobile accidents and whatnot. Do you know how to apply a tourniquet? Do you know what to do to help someone if they're having trouble breathing after an automobile accident or whatnot? It's all about life safety and having the tools necessary to help your fellow man. That's what it's all about. DefendSystems.com. That's DefendSystems.com or 615-236-6484. All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 39 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. We'll get back to President Donald Trump at the White House today. He's taking a myriad of questions about a variety of issues. The media continues to be absolutely obsessed they continue to freak out over the fact that he has torn down the East Wing and he's going to rebuild that into a beautiful ballroom. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few moments. I will also talk about the Democrat shutdown on the way as well. But right now, we turn our attention to the Murphy Show hotline, where we are joined by the Attorney General of the great state of Tennessee. It is Jonathan Skrmetti, and always a pleasure to catch up with the AG. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of activity going on, lots to talk about, lots to discuss, not the least of which this big victory. I guess it was you, Attorney General, along with Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch, securing a pretty substantial victory, knocking down a Biden administration era gender attempt. Just describe to us, walk us back to 100,000 feet and just tell us what the Biden administration was trying to do and your role in knocking this back.
Yeah, so this is one of many examples of the Biden administration trying to rewrite federal laws through regulation to say that sex discrimination meant gender identity discrimination. And so this one was Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act. So it dealt with health care and health insurance. And the gist of it was, under this regulation that the Biden administration was pushing, hospitals would have been mandated to provide gender transition procedures. They would have had to use the pronouns that people wanted. It led to some really bizarre situations where, if a man identified as a woman, they would have to offer a pregnancy test when they went in. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff, expensive stuff, and illegal requirements because the law does not require any of this. So we sued. We said this is a violation of the Constitution because the statute doesn't give you the authority to do this. We had 15 states in it with us. Lynn Fitch and I partnered up to lead it. We had Steve Marshall in Alabama. We had a dozen other folks in there. It took a little while, but we won. And now that regulation is vacated, which means it's as if it never existed. It's off the books. The Trump administration gets to work from a clean slate on this regulation.
And what does that mean on the ground for Tennessee residents and really for residents across the United States of America, that we can't make this case that individuals are owed some sort of gender-affirming care on the back of the taxpaying citizen? Is that kind of the idea?
That's right, because it didn't just deal with healthcare providers. It also dealt with insurers. And a lot of people have been making decisions, saying, well, this regulation is out there, so we really need to accommodate these procedures because we're worried about getting sued. Well, now any basis for them getting sued for treating men as men and women as women is gone. And it gives people a lot more opportunity to make informed choices based on the evidence. And it doesn't mandate that doctors who don't believe in this stuff have to do it, which was the biggest risk of all, that kids were going to be getting these procedures even when doctors knew it was the wrong thing for them.
Well, and we're seeing a series of these cases come up before the courts, and it feels as if, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Attorney General, it feels as if there's a fair amount of uniformity amongst the courts, at least when you get to the higher level courts, in their reading of the law and their understanding of the differences between sex and the manner in which you are born versus how you wish to identify, and the different aspects of those two things, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the federal courts, we've had a lot of success. Different courts are a little bit different. Some of the circuit courts are still a little slow to catch up. We had a great win in Tennessee with the SB1 litigation in the case United States versus Skrmetti, and that sort of set the tone for the federal courts. Minnesota just the other day issued a ruling about a male power lifter, saying that the women had to compete against this biological male in powerlifting. So not every court is on the same page, but there was this big regulatory push to just normalize this across the law. And this is one of the last instances where we're shutting down that effort. It took a lot of work. They were trying it all over the place. It was a big fight. We won again. And even now, almost a year after the election, we're still wiping out these bad regulations. But this was a good win.
What's next on this front, specific to the issue of transgender individuals and what they believe are their rights versus what the law says about it? I mean, are there any other cases in the pipeline?
So the United States Supreme Court is looking at some sports cases And that should give us a lot of clarity, because they're going to have to squarely confront some of the big constitutional questions that are out there. Some people are still pushing the idea that the Equal Protection Clause requires that you treat men who identify as women the exact same as you would treat a woman, and vice versa. So that's probably the single biggest legal area here. You know, we're seeing a lot of political ramifications. The election in Virginia has a lot of conversation about this, and in Northern Virginia, there have been some schools with significant issues where, you know, kids are out now in school board campaigns saying, hey, please give us privacy, give us safety in our bathrooms. I think there's still work to be done, but you never want to take anything for granted. It seems like the tide has turned, and a lot of people are saying this was done without much evidence. You know, the science is starting to get more transparent. We're seeing that a lot of the evidence was cooked with respect to the benefits of these procedures on the medical side of things. You know, people are seeing some of the bad impacts of throwing open locker rooms to people of the opposite sex. There's a reason that we have men's locker rooms and women's locker rooms. There are still fights to be fought, but I think we're in a much, much, much stronger position now than we were, say, 2 years ago.
You know, on that specific front and on that specific question, I mean, AG, you're much better positioned. Jonathan Skrmetti, by the way, our guest, the Attorney General of the state of Tennessee. I mean, you're much better positioned to answer this question than some, guy on the radio with a radio show. But I don't want to presume what the court will or will not do. I think that's a fool's errand to suggest that any of us can guess that we know how the court's going to rule. But it just feels like this one is somewhat of a no-brainer in terms of the divisions between men and women's athletics and how it could potentially destroy women's athletics if we were to allow for men to compete against women.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there are objective physical differences between the sexes, and no matter what someone identifies as, that doesn't change things like, bone density or some of the different angles of motion, and
right.
Those differences make for an uneven playing field. And I think more and more and more people are willing to speak up about that. For a while, the experts were just hammering everyone. I think a lot of people were afraid to speak up, or maybe were genuinely not sure whether what they thought was true was actually true. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Well, and I'm happy for it, certainly. While I have you, Attorney General, the news of the day, and I don't know if this has been something that's been on your desk or in your office or on your radar screen, but the news of the day dictates to me, because I think the state of Tennessee was mentioned in this federal indictment. The FBI secured multiple indictments for more than 30 people relating to their role in this gambling scandal that has apparently mafia ties as well as NBA ties. And Tennessee was mentioned. Has that been anywhere on your radar screen?
It has not. Actually, this is the first I'm hearing about that. I
know it was a federal level deal, so I just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we coordinate with them on stuff, but if there's, I used to be a Fed, and I know when there was something sensitive and big, sometimes you just got to clam up about it and build the case as quietly as you can so nothing leaked. So I'll definitely have to look at that.
In other news, one other area of focus has been Memphis, and we just were listening to the President of the United States talk about some of the successes involving the governor's decision to work with and allow for federal involvement in trying to clean up crime in Memphis in a way that, sadly, the local officials have not been able to do over there. I understand. I mean, I would think, I don't want to presume anything, Attorney General, but I would think that you were a part of all of the clearance of that on the front end. Did you speak with, coordinate in any way with the governor's office in terms of making sure that everything that we were doing was of a constitutional nature?
So I can't talk about privileged communications with clients, but I'm also a defendant. The mayor of Shelby County sued the governor and sued me and sued the head of the Tennessee National Guard. So as a co-defendant governor, I can say we think we have very strong arguments to defend what's been done here. And, if you look at the statistics, it's insane. Compare last year to this year, crime's down like 45% in Memphis. This federal intervention, the coordination between the local and state and federal officials is having a huge impact. And, I know people in Nashville love to dump on Memphis. It's a great city. It's got its problems. But Memphis is a huge part of the Tennessee economy. We got the world's largest supercomputer there. We got the busiest cargo airport in the hemisphere. There's all sorts of great stuff going on. It is so good for all of us if Memphis succeeds. And the crime numbers are just shockingly dropping. It's great. People are talking about how wonderful it is to get outside and walk around and not be afraid. We should all celebrate this. We're going to litigate this very vigorously. We take the lawsuit seriously. We've got a hearing on November 3rd about the Guard. Regardless of the Guard, though, all of these agencies working together are making the difference. And this is just a great thing for the whole state.
Are you able to speak about I want to ask this question because I think I'm not asking you to knock on the DA in Memphis, Milroy. But can you speak to how you run your office, and were you because the suggestion is that you have a prosecutor that has been light on criminals for a long time, and that has potentially exacerbated this, and that we have yet to handle that side of this issue. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
So, when he ran, he was very transparent about what he was going to do, and it was going to be a more restorative, justice-oriented approach. He comes from a pretty liberal place, and he was very honest about it. The voters of Memphis, the voters of Shelby County chose him. He came in and he did what he said he was going to do. He is not taking the approach that I would take if I were the prosecutor in Shelby County. But I think a really important thing to remember is there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Mm-hmm. So, even if he is not as aggressive as I would like him to be, and he and I, we talk, we're cordial. He knows what I think. I know what he thinks. I think He would not be surprised to hear me say I'd be more aggressive than him about some things. But there's also the judges to worry about. And there's a whole juvenile court situation there. Where how they treat juvenile offenders is significant. And so, it's going to take a top-to-bottom review of what's going on in the criminal justice system in Shelby County to really figure out the breakdown, because I think there are a number of places where people could be doing things differently and it would be more effective. Because you see this revolving door, and it's putting people's lives at risk. If somebody is dangerous, they should not be back on the street. If you want to talk about finding a way to give people who have served significant time an opportunity to reintegrate in society, that's a good thing. That's good for all of us in the long run. But there has to be, the pointy end of the stick at the front of that. So I hope that the conversation continues. We have a General Assembly that cares a lot about criminal justice issues. Governor Lee has worked on criminal justice reform, trying to find solutions that work. In Tennessee, it's very atomized. So the state has very little input into what goes on in each judicial district. I don't have prosecutorial authority or oversight. The DAs are extremely autonomous. The local investigative authorities are very, very autonomous. They get to make their own decisions. We have TBI and the Highway Patrol that provide some state-level law enforcement, but almost every decision gets made by locally elected judges, locally elected prosecutors, police that answer to locally elected officials. So, in some states, it's a much different situation where the state can really step in and snap their fingers and things get fixed. It's going to take a lot more effort in Tennessee, and there may be some limitations ultimately on what the state can do. At the end of the day, a lot of the decisions are going to stay local, and it's up to the local voters to make it clear what they want.
AG Jonathan Skrmetti, thank you so much. Congratulations on the big victory. It's a victory for the entire United States of America against what I would call radical gender ideology in healthcare. I think you've described it that way as well. We appreciate your efforts on that front and so many others, and we'll talk again very soon.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, take care. There's Jonathan Skrmetti. I think I called him Milroy, by the way. Not Jonathan. I called the district attorney out of Shelby County Milroy. It's Mulroy with a U, not an I. Steve Mulroy. He's worthless, and had Murphy his way, he would be gone today, not tomorrow, but today. We need a strong prosecutor to put criminals behind bars in that community to better demonstrate the seriousness that we're taking crime in Memphis, Tennessee these days. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk. Okay, friends, cover Nash, Shane Ring. You know, Shane has talked to you for a long time, many, many months, about how you can make changes to your health insurance coverage any time of the year. You don't have to wait for open enrollment, but lo and behold, looky here, it's the time of year where people talk about open enrollment all the time. And there's a lot of people going, oh, it's open enrollment, it's open enrollment. Shane Ring's like, look, anything that will convince you to make him, get you to call him, to sit down with him. Allow Shane to go over your situation and to advise you. He becomes your personal health care concierge. He can advise you on exactly what you should do to save as much money as you possibly can. You should not overpay on your insurance, but you don't want to cut corners on the coverage that you receive because you never know when you're going to need those aspects of coverage. So we can tailor a plan specific to your needs, specific to your family, and we can save you the maximum amount of money. And Shane has, I think he told me, 75 separate insurance companies, programs, and plans that he can shop through to make sure that he's finding the right one for you. That's called working for you, not working for the insurance companies. So give him a call and sit down with Shane today. He's in Brentwood. He's local to our community, 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or covernash.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now, a federal investigation into Senator Adam Schiff over alleged mortgage fraud has reportedly stalled. NBC News reporting that sources familiar with the case say prosecutors in Maryland have been unable to gather sufficient evidence to move forward, leaving the probe open but inactive. Target said to be cutting 1,800 corporate jobs as part of a major restructuring effort. The company says the move will streamline operations and eliminate overlapping roles with no impact to store or warehouse staff. Affected employees will receive pay and benefits through early January, along with severance packages. NBA scandal allegedly involving the mob. A Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavs player and coach Damon Jones among more than 30 people arrested in a gambling-related probe. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
Billups and Jones used their status as ex-players to attract victims to poker games rigged by high-tech card reading and wireless communication to steal millions of dollars total, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nusella.
The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
He says NBA insiders used non-public info about athletes and teams to attract bets. The investigation started in 2019.
Feds say people were cheated out of hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. Right now in Nashville, Jennifer Pittman telling Channel 4 her concerns have not been addressed since 2 weeks ago when a car went airborne and damaged her home on Smith Springs Road in the Una area.
I submitted a request to the Hub Nashville, and they responded and said that guardrails aren't for our property protection, it's to protect the motorists. Within the last few years, it's been just ridiculous around here. Cars pass cars in the turning lane. Speed limit's 40, they're doing well over 40.
2 people in that car were taken to the hospital. Neighboring homes also suffered some property damage before the car went airborne. Metro Police investigating. And in money news, lower mortgage rates, lifting affordability and sales of existing homes, says the National Association of Realtors, up by 1.5% from a month ago. News 2 says realtors in Middle Tennessee report a surge in showings, more than 142,000 last week alone. Areas like Rutherford County now have 3.5 to 4 months of inventory as rates hover around 6.1, 6.2%, the lowest seen this year. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine got a crash 24 westbound right after 440. We're seeing northbound 65 really bumper to bumper and complete stop and go up to the South Loop downtown. You're getting the same eastbound South Loop over to 65 and then eastbound to East Loop. 440 eastbound, you've got some stop and go all the way over to Nolensville Pike starting there at 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you. It's hour number 2 right now. What's going on? Hello. Hi. Nice to have you with us. Whether you're listening on 99.7 FM, perhaps you're on one of our many, many different apps. I mean, we're all over the joint. We're on TuneIn and Spotify, iHeart. We have our own. If you'd like to download that, you can carry us wherever you go, from Dan Mandis early in the morning through Chris Hand, Chad Benson, and yours truly, Matt Murphy. And on to, Mark Levin, Red Eye Radio. Dan's doing Red Eye. I'm confused. Dan's doing Red Eye Radio, but Dan's not doing his show.
Well, I think that was just today.
I think it's tomorrow, too.
Oh, really?
I think I did not get a chance because I was previously I was asleep for the first half, and then I was obligated to get something done in the second half of the Nashville's Morning News this morning. But our good man, Brian Wilson, was back in the saddle.
Yes, sir. I heard Brother Brian this morning.
Love that. Love that. Love hearing Brian's voice. Love hearing that he's doing so well. Man, he's been everywhere, man. He's been like that Johnny Cash song or Hank Snow, depending on your taste.
Like Hank Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hank Snow.
I used to love some. Hank Snow got the shaft for that Elvis Presley.
Yes, he did.
Ken.
Yes, that's the rumor.
I could spend an hour litigating on behalf of Hank Snow. Well, because the Colonel screwed him.
Yeah.
It's true. The Colonel was representing old Hank.
And then
dropped him. And then Pretty Boy comes along and drops him like a sack of taters. That ain't right. That ain't right one bit. Anyway, good to hear Brian Wilson this morning on Nashville's Morning News. If you want to hear Dan Mandis, if you got a little, a little something going on where you need some Mandis in your life, you're going to have to tune in overnight because he's still on Red Eye Radio.
And he's still shankalicious.
He's as shankalicious as ever. Someone told me to share this with you, Ken.
Okay.
And it is possible, and I admit, sometimes I miss some of your newscasts. I try not to, Ken.
Okay.
I try to listen, but you know how it goes.
I got you.
Tennessee ABC grants extension of Tennessee Department of Agriculture hemp program. Current hemp laws from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture still in effect until June 30th of 2026. That from the Tennessee Growers Association. Breaking news. I have no idea if this relates to something that you've been saying in there in the newsroom or what, but someone said, would you mind giving this to Ken?
So that could mean that you can still buy flour even after January 1st.
So I'll read it again because I don't know what the status is, but it says Tennessee ABC. What would that be? Alcohol beverage control. Grants extension of the U.S. Tennessee Department of Agriculture hemp program. Current hemp program laws from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture still in effect until June 30th, 2026.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, from what I understand, starting January 1st, anything THC related has to comply with the federal law of it being 0.3% or below THC. And the argument is that the flower which you smoke, the minute you put flame to it, it goes above.
Right.
the federal allowable limit. So I'll have to look into that.
What I love, and Jackson and I have had this conversation off air in the past. So I'll just give you an example of Alabama law. Mm-hmm. Alabama law allows a certain level of THC content in the things that they sell.
Yeah.
And those levels are based on serving sizes for the gummies.
The gummies.
Or even the smokables.
The flour.
So, and that's the flour, right? So they have these they have these items that they sell legally in Alabama that are like preload cigarettes that have THC in them. And so they're not allowed to sell anything per serving over a certain percentage of THC. But if you look at one of these smokables that we would refer to in common parlance as a joint, right? On the package, it tells you that one joint is like 48 servings. It was like, y'all are just messing around, man. Y'all are selling dope and calling it legal. And I guess technically it is. You know what they call those things, Jackson?
No, I'm unfamiliar.
They call it a double doink.
Oh, the doinkster.
They call it a double doink because they sell them two to a package. I suppose if they sold just one, it would be a doink. My father-in-law knows all about this stuff.
So, once again, you said they've extended it to June?
That is what the loyal super texter has told me. So it's all I have is a thing that he sent me. It's a slide that says breaking news. Tennessee ABC grants extension of Tennessee Department of Agriculture hemp program. Current hemp laws from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture still in effect until June 30th, 2026. What I will say, Ken,
yes, sir,
is if this individual has any additional information about the source material behind that they just sent me, send that on, and I'll try to pass it along to you. All he said was show this to Ken.
Okay.
So I have shown it to you.
I'm going to look into it.
All right, well, I don't know. For a lot of people, they're anxious and anticipatory of what's going to happen there. And let me tell you, I would suggest as conservative as our audience is, and obviously we have more conservatives listening. We have people of all political stripes that listen to the radio show, and y'all know me. I don't claim to be a conservative because I'm not. I believe more in the libertarian philosophy of government. Government serves best, that serves least, and only when absolutely necessary. So when this extends into certain social issues, that's when my conservative friends and I will politely disagree on some of these matters, such as marijuana, such as gambling. And I think we can still remain friends while disagreeing with these matters. My belief in your individual freedom extends to these things too. My belief in your ability to choose what you do with your own body without interference from government extends to this too. And just as I defended your right not to take a damn COVID shot, I'll defend your right if you want to, in the privacy of your own home or in a safe and secure environment, smoke a joint. That's up to you. I might, as a friend or a neighbor or as a responsible citizen, advise against it. I might suggest to you that just like many other things that you can do in your life, that might be a gateway to a less fulfilling life. But we have gateways all over this country that can lead to a more or a less fulfilling life. And these things do not necessarily have to follow one another. In other words, you can go out tonight and have a couple of glasses of wine and enjoy yourself. Hell, if you're not driving your automobile, if you're a passenger and you want to go out and have dinner and get schnonkered and then pour yourself into the passenger seat of your vehicle or take yourself an Uber home and go on home and sleep it off, while that might not be the best worthy use of your time, that's up to you. You're a grown person. And you can live a very fulfilling life in the aftermath. At the same time, some people can't handle it, and that's where charitable organizations, community groups, and church-based organizations have to fill those needs. Government will never fill those needs on the front end or the back end, for that matter. And that is where I am on that. The government does not have any business dictating to me, so long as I'm not violating the rights of others, what I may or may not do to my own person. And by the way, that extends to naturally occurring drugs. I believe that. And I know that that freaks people out because you say, well, Matt, opioids are naturally occurring. Yeah, they sure are. They sure are. But you know what I would not offer the same extension to? Pharmaceutical industries that concoct these chemically based drugs in their laboratories and sell them for ungodly amounts of money freely and available to you. And we suggest that that's okay. Why? Because the pharmaceutical industry has government buy-off, not payoff, buy-off. And they get doctors on board. And oftentimes, well, I mean, y'all know what happens between those doctors' offices and those pharmaceutical industries, right? I mean, they're in bed with one another, thick as thieves. Randy wants to know if you can define the word if I can define the word conservative. You know, I don't know that I know what it means anymore, honestly. And I understand that it is a term that is malleable. You know, I used to think I knew what a Republican was, but nowadays I have no idea because I hear very conservative and very Republican people being called rhinos all the time. The funniest thing is when I get called a rhino. I've never claimed to be a Republican in my life. I've never been a Republican, and I get called a rhino. I'm like, I don't think you know what that term means if you're calling me a rhino. I'm someone that's never called myself a rhino, so how in the world can I be a Republican in name only if I've never called myself a Republican? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know where we're going with the marijuana thing. I'm a believer in you owning you. You control your fate. You control the aspects of your life that are of a private nature, and most particularly, so long as you are not violating the rights of other people, I believe in your ability to go to hell in your own fashion, or to heaven for that matter, depending on which direction you choose to go. Now, some ask me when I bring this conversation up how that applies to abortion. Well, obviously, abortion deals with a third entity. Government, the person, and another person that's inside that first person, right? So what does government say about where the rights of that third individual, you know, mama, daddy, and baby, there are rights of that third individual that have to come into play at some point, and the rub has always been when that should happen. And for the record, I've always been comfortable with 10 weeks. And for some of you, that's going to make you very mad. I'm just being honest with you. That's where I'm at on it. And after that, you've had plenty of decision opportunities in your life to choose otherwise, and that is quote-unquote pro-choice, right? You had plenty of opportunity to choose, and now you don't have that opportunity to choose death anymore. You have a life growing inside of you that has its own individual rights as well. 615-737-9986. So the liberal freak out on this demolition, I've never seen it. Y'all, just when I think we've reached peak TDS, peak insanity, these leftists take it up a notch, baby. And I would love to talk to you about it. It is hilarious. And the only way that we can treat it is with the hilarity that it deserves. For example, Chuck Todd, famously referred to as F. Chuck Todd by the late, great Rush Limbaugh. Chuck Todd, formerly of NBC News. I don't know what the man's doing now. Said this, between the destruction, this is coming from his Twitter feed, X machine feed. Between the destruction of the East Wing and the pardoning of a corrupt family business partner, Trump is in the I can shoot anyone on Fifth Avenue phase of his presidency. So he's likening revamping and rebuilding the East Wing of the White House to shooting someone on Fifth Avenue. And then this, Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh used to claim to be a Republican. I don't know what he claims to be anymore. Joe had this to say, I will repeat this every single day for the next 3 years. Any Democrat running for president in 2028 must pledge to immediately tear down, bulldoze, demolish Trump's ballroom, and fully restore the East Wing and any other piece of the people's house Trump has or will destroy. Well, gosh, Joe, I bet the man's gone to every single bathroom and gone number 1 or number 2 in every single one of them in the White House by this time. I guess we have to destroy all of those places. I guess we have to rebuild the Oval Office, according to you, because Donald Trump, as the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America, I guess he's apparently soiled those, stained those beyond repair. I mean, what are these people smoking or drinking? What is wrong with you people? Is TDS that? Is it that bad? Presidents have long lamented the fact that when they have state dinners or they have functions at the White House that extend beyond 175 or 200 people, they have to put up tents. Don't believe me. Just go to the Google machine or the DuckDuckGo machine or wherever you get your information and type it in. White House state dinner, tents, TENTS, and you'll see. I mean, they're fancy tents. Don't get me wrong. They're the nicest tents that you'll find going. And I'm sure that this industry of big tent, they're very upset at Donald Trump's decision to build a ballroom that so many presidents previous to him have lamented that they did not have to put on an appropriate state dinner. Donald Trump decided to do it. And the mainstream media can't stand it, and the political left can't stand it, mainly because they can't do anything about it. By the way, Barack Obama had a major construction effort going on at the White House in 2013. And I could go over all of them. Wasn't it FDR that put in a pool at the White House? It was Harry Truman that gutted the whole thing. Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing. William Howard Taft built the Oval Office. This is not new, friends. And don't let the mainstream media make you believe that it is. Any thoughts? 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. It's that time of year, y'all. It's about to be the time of year. Or I say it's that time of year. I think for many of you, it might already be. Where in the morning, you're popping on that heat, making sure you get that nip out of the air. And then by the afternoon, you're maybe putting the AC on because it's gotten a little warm in the house. Well, that puts a strain on that heating and air conditioning unit. And Jeff Eddy wants to make sure that everything's running as properly as it should. That's why he's there. Efficient Heating and Cooling's here for you, friends. Maybe you need a second opinion on whether or not it's time to replace that heating unit. Give Efficient a call. They are the second opinion experts. Here's what I know. Jeff Eddy's never going to advise you to do something like this unless he truly believes it's in your interest and unless he or one of his technicians fully explains why. They'll explain to you what's going on in language that you can understand. They won't, your flux capacitor is bad or whatever. I mean, they'll tell you what's going on with that unit and exactly how much life you can get out of it, what that's going to cost you in terms of inefficiency with energy costs and whatnot, and what it would mean to put that heating unit back right again. And if it's time to replace, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help you select the right unit for you and the family. Let's go. Let's get with Efficient Heating and Cooling. EfficientHVAC.net is the website. EfficientHVAC.net or call 615-784-4424.
We are seeing that there has been an extension of the current rules that would allow you to buy hemp flour beyond January 1st. We'll tell you about that story and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Breaking news, update alert from the news desk. Ken Weaver's on it.
What about my gummies?
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I think gummies were going to be okay either way as long as they were 0.3% or lower
Per serving.
THC level.
Per serving.
Yeah, which is like what?
Like a little nibble.
15th of the gummy?
Little nibble. Little nibble of the gummy.
I mean, from what I understand, it's like, and I talked to somebody about this who is in the industry, it seems like the beverages, the THC beverages that are, you can get in liquor stores right now, we're going to be able to continue to buy those because they explicitly state on the can 0.3% of THC
By volume.
per federal law. So, but this, if the current rules are going to stay in effect until June 30th, that means, you can buy flour right now legally from licensed, people who have the licenses to sell them.
Right.
So it looks like you'll be able to do that until
Or
June
a sketchy gas station down the street.
Yeah, I don't know if I do.
Or
that.
one of those, there's little kiosks that pop up on Broadway,
Like
right?
a vending machine?
Have y'all seen those? No, like little food trucks.
Really?
Little dope trucks. I've seen them down there. Like a little one of those little hot dog vending carts.
Really?
Only they got little neon or LED dope signs on them.
Would you call them a marijuana mobile?
Yeah, well, a little. I would call them a pot cart, but you can go marijuana mobile if you want to get more verbose with it. Sure.
Ooh, verbose, big word.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, that could be illegal.
Oh no, I think it is.
I think a lot of it's illegal.
I think a lot of what they do on Broadway is illegal.
Ken, walk into any gas station and see what you find.
Oh, I have.
And some of that, and I don't even understand some of that kratom. I don't understand it.
What is kratom?
I have no idea.
It's supposedly a naturally occurring like opioid type substance, but it's not opioids. It's something different, but it acts like opioids, and it's from a leaf. And some of it's a stimulant, and some of it's a depressant. And I don't pretend to understand any of it.
Have any of you guys seen Anchorman 2?
I have not seen Anchorman 2.
Oh, never mind.
I've seen Anchorman 1.
Well, the scene I'm
Ken Weaver. That's what. I'm sorry. Somebody told me the other day to put a question mark on the end of your news report to see if we could get you to do Anchorman style. I'm Ken Weaver.
Oh, my traffic reports?
Oh, your traffic reports.
Ken Weaver?
I'm Ken Weaver?
Who put a question mark on the teleprompter? Come on.
I'm Ken Weaver?
San Diego. You know what that means, don't you?
No.
What does it mean, Matt?
Said Wales, right?
Wales what?
I mean, I think I could say it, but I don't want to.
You better be careful, Brother Murphy.
I think I could say it.
I think the FCC's closed.
I think I would be allowed to say that, right?
He did.
But I think I'm allowed.
What, you asking Jackson?
Why are you looking at me? You did this 100 years before I came along.
Brother Jackson's going to go, sure.
Yeah, do it.
Say whatever. I get to come in tomorrow one way or the other, buddy.
It's not going to be my YouTube short that's with me saying it.
Dallas says we should call those little carts the potholders. That's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, it is time for news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back in a moment.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes and some news here about the hemp industry in Tennessee and the availability of products containing THC, the part that gets you high. The Tennessee Growers Coalition has posted state regulators have extended current agriculture hemp rules until June 30th of 2026, which would mean that products like the flour you smoke will still be legal to purchase from legal places in Tennessee. Federal prosecutors have stalled their investigation into Senator Adam Schiff over alleged mortgage fraud. Sources say the case remains open but inactive due to a lack of evidence. Schiff denies the claims and calls the probe politically motivated. And Target is laying off 1,800 corporate workers as it restructures to cut costs and speed up decision-making, the company says. Says the move won't affect store or warehouse employees, and those impacted will get pay and benefits through early January at plus severance. Authorities in New York say dozens of people, including current and former NBA players and coaches, have been arrested in connection with a dual sports betting scheme and poker fraud scheme that drained tens of millions of dollars from victims and sporting book companies. We get more from ABC's Aaron Katursky.
This was called Operation Royal Flush, according to the Homeland Security Investigations folks. They spent more than 2 years looking at these poker games that were backed by the mafia. And according to the indictment, the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, was among what they called the face cards, recruiting unsuspecting victims to these poker games.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. It is looking bumper to bumper if you're trying to get out of downtown Nashville, especially if you are eastbound South Loop. I mean, it is bumper to bumper from 40 over to 65. Northbound 65, complete stop and go up to the South Loop. Look at a westbound 440 here now, right before you get to 40. That is stop and go. So is eastbound 440 over to 24. Do have a crash reported in West Nashville. It's going to be 40 westbound at 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, if your foundation is janky, that is an official industry term for USS, United Structural Systems. Janky. Ask them about it when you make the call. Say, Murphy said that if I have jankiness going on in my foundation or jankiness with my waterproofing, that y'all can solve the janky. They can. They do it all the time. They've been doing that since 1994. I mean, they might call it something different, but that's what it is, right? Because sadly, with the topography and with the construction that we've had in our community all around the state of Tennessee, the possibility of you having to deal with foundation repair exists. And who are you going to call? Well, I would recommend you call USS. They're simply the best when it comes to foundation repair. USS has been in the industry since 1994. For well over 30 years now, they've been solving problems in homes just like yours. Over 30,000 satisfied customers, and you could be the next. Let's give them a call or go online at USSTN.com, USSTN.com. The number is 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for our friends at USS. Homeowners simply trust USS, United Structural Systems. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 4:39, almost 4:40. I am pleased you've decided to join us. Thank you. I don't know how Jackson Williams feels about it. He seems to be in a better humor today. By the way, several individuals have asked Jackson, and I don't know if you or Brother Ken Weaver in the Super Talk 99.7 WTN news closet would have this information, but several have asked on the Super Text line, and I'm just relating this. Has former Tennessee Volunteer coach Tony Montana been implicated in this gambling ring as of yet?
I have not seen any indication that the now former Vols national championship winning baseball coach has been implicated in that scheme.
Well, that's good news for him and his future with the San Francisco Giants. Very good. Oh, boy. Man, let me... Even Tennessee Volunteer fans were appreciative of our segment yesterday, except there were a few people that were very angry at me. They,
really? And that includes me.
They were accusing me of playing all the sad songs. I had nothing to do with any of those sad songs, and they were accusing me of doing the sad songs.
He just handed me a sad song list and said, if you don't play these, I'll have your job.
Well, I mean, there was that, but I didn't really mean it. I didn't really mean it.
What blew me away is you rolled out the Johnny Cash version of Hurt, which is one of the most haunting songs I've ever heard.
Well, it was a haunting day yesterday, Ken.
Today.
And I love that song.
To see if I could feel.
So I didn't call Matt's bluff yesterday, but I did call the bluff of a few NBA players, made a good bit of money.
Oh, did you now? You better watch out. Apparently there's some authorities downstairs that want to speak to you.
Oh, Ken, it's time for our Mad Dash.
Yeah.
By the way, I need to clarify something I reported earlier today.
Yes, sir.
And because I want to make sure that I'm transparent in what I report.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing a search for the 11 states that were mentioned as part of this NBA scandal.
Okay.
And what came up was that Tennessee was one of the 11 states.
Okay.
And I reported that. However, that I have not seen anything coming from authorities that state Tennessee is one of the states. So I want to let everybody know that I reported that without seeing anything official. And so I have stopped reporting that until I do see something official.
Well, and I don't know if you heard me ask the question to the Attorney General, Ken.
I did hear that.
And, I can understand why the AG would not have that anywhere on their radar screen, particularly if it is a federal investigation conducted by the FBI. But it kind of surprised me. He said, it's the first time hearing about it. So that might lend itself to the idea that Tennessee's not involved. Tennessee might be involved. We have an NBA city. And, Nashville, let me promise you, there's a lot of gambling going on in Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of gambling going on in Nashville. I wish that there was some gambling going on of a legal nature. Can you imagine if we got ourselves a nice little casino on the East Bank? Would y'all be in support of that? I would.
Dude.
I would.
You talk about how if you think Nashville is crowded now.
Come on.
You put a casino in this city.
Come on. It could be a Trump. It could be a Trumpy Trump. It could be a Trump casino.
I'll tell you this. Whenever I drive home, to see mom and dad in Tulsa, there's one of those Native American casinos just right across the border from Arkansas. Most of those plates in the parking lot are Arkansas.
Are Arkansas?
Yes. Because they go right across the border into Oklahoma to play at those Indian casinos.
Well, look, when our good friend and legal correspondent Jay St. Clair and I take a real estate and financial junket to Tunica, Mississippi,
yes, sir.
Let me assure you, in the parking lots of Tunica, Mississippi, there's a hell of a lot of Tennessee plates. A lot of Tennessee plates.
They just haven't had them switched over to Mississippi yet.
Oh, I guess so. I guess they move over and they just, they take the time. I'll tell you another thing. I went up to a poker room in Kentucky. It's called the Barrel.
Oh, yeah?
And it is exclusively a poker venue. So there's no other gambling that goes on. It's near where that, what's that place? Winning Just Got Closer. What's that?
I could have told you had you not asked me. Winning just got closer.
Oh, yeah. Your advertising really works.
Well, it does for the jingle.
Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Near where this Oak Grove joint is a poker room. And the way that they do it, which kind of parlays right into this discussion about the NBA and how they managed these poker shenanigans. Their poker room, the way that they do it, I guess poker as it's done in Las Vegas, as it's done in other poker rooms around the United States of America, is not allowed in Kentucky. So you're not allowed to have a facility that takes what is called a rake. A rake is where the house makes its money. So if a group of people get together and they want to play a game of poker and it's hosted by a casino, for example, the way that the casino makes money, because they have to pay the dealers and they have to buy the tables, they have to buy the cards, they have to make sure that the game's on the up and up, they have to buy the chips, they have to conduct the engagement, and they have to provide security. I mean, they're providing a lot of things, and oftentimes they're providing free drink and free snacks and these types of things. So with all of that going on, and they want to make money on this thing too. And so they take what is called a rake. And I don't know what the typical rake, I think it's like 1% or whatever. And they do that per hand. So any hand that goes above a certain amount of money, they take a certain amount of money, and they put it in their little house kitty, and that's called a rake. Well, apparently that's not allowable in Kentucky. And so what they're doing at this facility that I went to is they rent a seat. It's a private club, so you have to pay like $10, right, to call themselves a private club. And I suppose that's a part of the legality of all of this too. And then they rent seats. And so you have to pay a certain amount of money to, quote, rent a seat at the table for an hour. So that's not a rake. It's not a rake per pot, but it's the same concept.
That's interesting. You got to pay to sit there, sir.
Oh, yeah. You just that's $10 an hour. And whatever y'all do with y'all's own money, and, I mean, y'all are playing cards, right? Well, that's y'all's business. We just rent that seat for an hour. Oh, free snacks. They do serve free snacks, by the way, Ken.
I love free snacks.
Oh, yeah, popcorn and some of those little nutrition bars. Oh, and my favorite was, when I went up there?
Yes, sir.
Slim Jims.
Oh, Slim Jims.
Free Slim Jims.
Oh, I love Slim Jims.
I made, it was like $10 to rent the seat. I made all of that back in Slim Jims.
I'll take a bite of a Slim Jim and then a bite of cheese.
Oh, Weaver.
I put them together.
Oh, let me tell you, one of my favorite gas station snacks is that cheese meat combo deal.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
I don't know where that cheese came from, and I don't know where that meat came from, and I don't care.
Right.
But you pull that down, and you eat them, you take the bite of the cheese, and,
yeah.
That's good stuff.
Well, it's good road food.
Oh, yes.
As long as you got plenty of places to stop along the way.
Well, I mean, you need to make sure that you don't pass up a rest area. Go see the rest areas. And grab yourself a couple of maps while you're there.
And hopefully they're not closed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, that happened to you, man.
Y'all want...
That's terrible.
Let me tell you, Ken, I cannot believe that I'm about to tell this story on the radio. But I am.
All right.
You reminded me of it. I went to college in Carrollton, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
At West Georgia. And I grew up, as many of you know, in Thompson, Georgia, Thomson. No P in Thompson.
Yes, sir.
And I was driving back to Carrollton one night, and oftentimes I would leave late on a Sunday from home. And it was about a 2.5-hour drive through Atlanta to Carrollton, from Augusta, Georgia, basically, to Atlanta, and then through Atlanta onto Carrollton. Mm-hmm. And I had some of my grandma's incredible, delicious oyster stew.
Ooh.
Oh, so good. Put some of those oyster crackers on there and oyster stew, and those oysters, and it's a milky based stew. Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
I had 2 bowlfuls. And then around Madison, it was around Madison that my belly started talking with me. And I was like, boy, oh boy, I'm going to have to do something about this. But I knew that there was a rest area just on this side of Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And if I could just get to that rest area, everything would be okay.
Just got to get there, man.
And so I don't know if it's psychological or what, but when you know when your belly's calling to you and you know where you're going, it feels like it ramps up in seriousness. And it was ramping, and it was, and they were mad. Oh boy, hold your horses there, boys. And we were clamping down for all we were worth.
Yes.
And, oh, boy, that rest area could not come soon enough. And, I got 4 miles to go. And, oh, my God, I got 3 miles to go. And I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm by myself verbalizing. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Talking to
I said, I don't think this is going to be bad. Oh, but there it is. And I pull in. And it was close.
Oh.
And so I pooped outside, kid. I pooped right there where they say that the dogs are supposed to do it.
Yes, sir.
I pooped right in the pet area.
Please pick up after your pets. They're probably out of those little sacks too.
It was nothing. I was smart enough to grab what I needed out of the glove box.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Woo. I had to do what I had to do, Ken.
At least the good folks in Arkansas, Forest City, Arkansas, had the decency to at least put out a porta potty for everybody.
Well, that's nice of them.
It wasn't, it wouldn't be my first choice, but at least it was there.
There was some building near that. I mean, the rest area was closed. It was closed.
Yeah.
And there were truckers in the parking lot, because at this point it's 1:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So I am certain, thank God this was in 1993, because otherwise there would be video of Matt Murphy running into a little dark area and dropping trowel right there. But you know what? I had to do what I had to do.
You do. You got to do what you got to do. What you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do when you got to do it. When you got the poop sweats. And and now that I think about it,
yes, sir.
I'm serious. This is the first time I've thought about that. I think that's the last time I've ever had oyster stew. I used to love that stuff.
It sounds good.
Oh man, if you've never had it, it's like a creamy based stew. It's like a clam chowder.
Yeah.
My mom would call it oyster stew.
Yeah, probably loaded up with all kinds of butter and heavy cream.
Oh, what are you talking about? And oysters. Some good. Some potentially not so good. What are you laughing at, Jackson? Why is Jackson staying out? Jackson, why don't you tell the story about the last time you almost pooped yourself?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Brother Jackson.
No? Time for break?
Jackson, this is where Jackson would say, I want to keep my job.
I just push the buttons, boys.
A super texter just said that this show's gone into the crapper.
And they're going to runs away.
Another one wants to know if that qualified as nincompoops in the news. And then the third person, I promise I'll get to Grace Point Healthcare. They probably don't want any part of this, but a third person, can you imagine the next day? My Lord, look at the size of that dog. It's a big dog, boy. That dog had to go.
Oh,
they're not feeding. Hey, y'all, guys, look at this. They're not feeding that dog right.
They got wolves down here.
They got maybe. That might be a cat. That ain't no alley cat. That's a minx. Links. Anyway, Grace Point Healthcare. You know what? If you find yourself in a bad, poor digestive way, they can help you at Grace Point Healthcare. How about that for a transition? Grace Point Healthcare is modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. And let me tell you, friends, if you're not feeling your best, if it's a stomach bug or a stomach ailment or something else that's happening with you, let's get with the best. Let's get with Grace Point Healthcare. Grace Point, there's never any long wait times in the waiting rooms. They don't believe in that. They're your primary care provider that treats the entire family from newborns to seniors. Now, we've got fall into winter, and with that brings cold and flu season. And, you know, sadly, that means that if you get sick, you're probably anticipating a week or so of a delay getting to see your doctor. They don't do that at Grace Point Healthcare. They can see you same day or even next day, even doing house calls if necessary, if you feel too bad to leave the home. Grace Point Healthcare is a direct pay environment. That means that never will insurance companies get in the way between the decision-making between you and your doctor, and you can also file with your insurance company for reimbursement. Ask about the basic Smart Care plan, starting at $99 for adults, $79 for the kids. 599-6868, 599-6868. Modern medicine, delivered the old-fashioned way at Grace Point. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for Tommy and the team at Volunteer Outfitters. Friends, if you've not been, you got to go. Right down the road from all of those fancy high prices at some of these outdoor stores is Volunteer Outfitters. And friends, it's worth the drive. I mean, it's convenient to anywhere within the sound of my voice. You go up Vietnam Veterans Parkway to take New Shackle Island Road exit, take a left, and you'll see them right down the road on the left. They are great. A great shop, a great environment, friendly people, and they've got some of the greatest brand names that you've come to know and love in the outdoor arena, and they've got them for less money than these big boys up here in Nashville. I'm talking about Bandit. I'm talking about Drake. I'm talking Huck. I mean, all of the fine brands that you know and love for living on the lake, or for getting in the field during bird season, or for getting ready for hunting season, deer season or whatnot, or turkey season even. They've got it for you at Volunteer Outfitters. Plus, Orca coolers and the like, and team gear for you as well. So whatever your need might be, you need to shop at Volunteer Outfitters. Don't forget about T-Shirt Tuesday, free T-shirt with any purchase on Tuesdays, or when I determine it's time. They keep a tally of the amount of T-shirts that I owe them at Volunteer Outfitters. Go by and see them in Hendersonville.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Tennessee, a new agreement between Tennessee regulators and hemp industry leaders gives businesses a temporary break from stricter rules. So retailers licensed before the end of this year will be able to keep selling THCA, which is flower that you can smoke to get high, and operating under current laws until June of 2026. The Alcoholic Beverage Commission will take full control next year when tougher regulations kick in. The Justice Department's investigation into Senator Adam Schiff over alleged mortgage fraud has reportedly stalled. Prosecutors haven't found enough evidence to move forward, though the case remains open. Schiff denies the allegations. He says the probe is politically driven. And authorities in New York say dozens of people, including current and former NBA players and coaches, have been arrested in connection with a dual sports betting scheme and poker fraud scheme that drained tens of millions of dollars from victims and sporting book companies. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups, former Cleveland Cavs player, and coach Damon Jones among the defendants, and authorities say that operations were also supported by mafia crime families. Here's Aaron Katursky.
According to the indictment, the coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, was among what they called the face cards, recruiting unsuspecting victims to these poker games. And then there was crazy technology. X-ray poker tables, special eyeglasses, automatic shuffling machines that could read the deck and then wirelessly transmit all that information to other players.
Well, the federal government shutdown starting to affect federal workers and military families whose paychecks are delayed. Here's more from ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The Pentagon diverted money in its budget to prevent military families from missing their paychecks earlier this month. But as their next payday approaches, it's unclear if they will get paid this time. This as 42 million low-income Americans relying on the federal food assistance program, SNAP, are now bracing for benefits to run out in just days.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Berry Hill got a crash reported by police 65 northbound past Armory Drive. West Nashville still showing that one at 40 westbound, 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, exit 205. Looking here on the map, still very, very colorful, if you will, and not the good kind. A lot of complete stop-and-go traffic going on between 65 and 24. If you're eastbound 440, northbound 65, it's a parking lot at times up to the South Loop. And then the South Loop is a parking lot practically from 40 over to the downtown split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 7 minutes after 5 o'clock, and we thank you for being out there on this Thursday, October 23rd edition. I think I failed to mention it's episode 909 today, 909 of our visits together, and I appreciate every single one of them, and I appreciate you for spending a little time with us, whether you have the full 4-hour experience or maybe it's just 5 or 10 minutes while you're driving home. We thank you, each and every one of you. Jackson Williams is behind the glass producing this experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. We appreciate him for that. Ken Weaver's back in the newsroom. He gathers headlines and delivers said headlines twice an hour and when news breaks. Sometimes he's on traffic detail. I heard you say earlier today, Ken, that it was a mess going home last night.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Ken.
Yeah, there were 2 crashes.
On 24?
On 24 going eastbound.
Can I tell you how many crashes we had on 40?
None.
There weren't any. There were none, Ken.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Good old 24.
Mount Juliet's beautiful this time of year. That's all I can tell you. We could do the rest of the show telling poop stories, okay? And for those of you just in your automobiles, you get off at 5 o'clock and you turn on your radio for the news of the day and you're like, what? I'm sorry. It's Ken Weaver's fault. I blame
Ken Weaver for this crappy show.
I blame Weaver. This is a crappy show. It should be wiped out completely. One more from me, Ken.
Okay.
Hand to a stack of Bibles. This is true, too. My grandpa, God rest his soul, y'all know how much I love my pa.
Yes, sir.
And finest man I ever knew in my life, finest man ever walking this earth. And we would go hunting. And, all manner of hunting. We did deer hunting, duck hunting, turkey hunting, all of it. And when we would deer hunt, he would put me in a deer stand. And, I'd be 12, 13 years old. And then he would walk. He did a lot of walking. Very, very quiet. He was a Cherokee Indian. He was just insanely quiet.
He knew. Occasionally,
he would walk up on me in the deer stand, and I would never hear him and scare good Lord bejesus out of me. But anyway, so he had, all his life that I knew him, he had summer camouflage and winter camouflage, and that was it, right? And he would add certain things to it, hats or, face coverings for turkey hunting, gloves for turkey hunting or whatever. But for the most part, it was summer camouflage, winter camouflage. Summer camouflage, was for, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, whatever, dove hunting. And then, he had waders for duck season or whatever. But he had coveralls, camouflage coveralls. And he would wear long johns underneath his camouflage coveralls. And I'm talking, it's 20 degrees outside. And the man's got long johns on his long john bottoms, long john tops, and these coveralls. And they were pretty thick, but they were just, coverall. So, and then he would put an orange vest, obviously, on top of that. And off we go. And me, I'm bundled up in like 14 different layers because it's 20 degrees. And he's sitting me in a stand. And I didn't understand at the time how in the world he could stand it. Well, mostly it was because he was walking and he was burning energy and and keeping warm. So one day, we would go in the cover of darkness, and we would get there, and he would put me in the deer stand. We'd walk to my stand, and then he would leave. And normally about 10 o'clock in the morning is when 10 or, maybe, 10:30, we would be there. And so you're talking about 4 hours or so in the deer stand. And then when he would come and get me, and then we would go back to the Jeep.
Right.
And we'd go home. So one morning, like most other, we get to the deer stand. He puts me in the deer. I get in the deer stand, and he walks off. And this particular morning, about 8 o'clock. I mean, it was dawn. It was bright outside. The sun was up, but it was way too early for him to normally be there. I hear a rustling behind me. A type of rustling that was not deer, obviously. It was man, and it was my grandfather. And my grandfather looked very frustrated. And he was just in his long johns. He had his long john bottoms on. He had his long john top on. He had his orange vest on top of his long john top. He had no more coveralls. And I'm like, Pa, what happened? He said, get out of the stand. Let's go to the Jeep. And I'm like, 13. What happened? What happened? Get out of the stand. Let's go to the Jeep.
Stop asking questions.
Right. And I'm like, yes. And I could tell that it was not the time. And I said, yes, sir.
Yes.
And I shut it down. And we walked in silence all the way to the Jeep.
Oh.
And we loaded our guns into the Jeep. And we loaded ourselves into the Jeep. And we cranked up the Jeep. And he got the heat going in the Jeep. And we drove out of the woods, and we got on the road, and we drove to the gate, and I got out of the gate, and I opened the gate, and he pulled the Jeep through the gate, and I closed the gate, and I relocked the gate, and I got in the gate. And right before we got on the road, and I cannot say the exact phrase that he said, but I'm going to use a version of it.
Yes, sir.
He looked at me, and he said, boy, I crapped in my overalls.
And what did 12-year-old Matt Murphy do?
I said, oh, no.
And I wanted to laugh, but I knew. You knew not to, boy.
So apparently he had to go, and he pulled his overalls down and then pulled his other, his white long johns down, and his overalls were camouflaged. And so they kind of blended in with the leafy floor, and he pooped right in them.
Oh, at least he saved the long johns.
And I said, well, Pa, couldn't you have washed them? And he said, to hell with them damn overalls. That's what he said.
Something bad happened in them overalls.
To hell with them damn overalls. So, anyway. So that's my...
Getting the Jeep, boy.
Let's go to the Jeep. What happened to your over? Let's go to the Jeep, boy. Yes, sir. I guess you don't want to talk about it.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, I guess we all got one of those stories, right, Thomas?
Yeah, I got one for you. Your girlfriend, redhead stranger, Pamela Furr.
Uh-oh.
She was filling in for Brian, and she told a story about her and her girlfriends out on the town and just coming back to the cab. And I want you to contact her and let her tell it.
Okay.
Because I was laughing so hard I almost wrecked. It's because one of them had TT really, really bad.
Okay.
When they pulled to her apartment, they got out running to the door, and she turned around, and the girl was going in the front yard.
Well, when you got to go, I suppose
you got to let Pam. You got to let Pam first.
I'll make her tell the story the next time we get her on, Thomas.
Man, I'd love to meet your grandpa. He sounded like a great guy.
Oh, he was a good man. My grandfather, he had a temper on him when I was a kid, boy, and you knew. I mean, he if you identified it, then you understood. if he was in a mood, let's not cross that line. I suppose maybe I have the same type of deal going, but I wasn't as tough as nails as my grandpa. But he was a fine man, and he was the friendliest human being on the face of the earth by the time I got to be an adult. And I would tell people about his temper later on in life, and they're like, "What are you talking about? This is the greatest guy we've ever met in our lives." And I'm like, "You didn't know him back when I did," because if he snapped, I mean, he snapped. I've told the story in the past about my brother and I got bicycles, and I had just a regular like Huffy bicycle, and my brother got a 10-speed. And so I wanted to ride my brother's 10-speed, and my brother had no interest in me riding his 10-speed. My brother was 2 years older than me. And so Brian was, doing his thing. By the way, can I just say Brian was in the right? I was not in the right, but Brian's the one that got the hell beat out of him as a result of this story. So we're playing in the yard, and I'm like, I want to ride your bike. I want to ride your bike. No. I want to ride your bike. No. I want to ride your bike. No. So I was a little snot, and he was riding down the driveway and jumping a little ramp with his 10-speed. And so I laid down in front of the ramp and says, I want to ride your bike. And now imagine this. As I'm laying down in front of the ramp, and my brother said, I'm going to run you over, my grandpa's coming out of the house.
And that's all he knew.
And all he saw was my older brother run me over with his 10-speed. And my grandpa grabbed a length of garden hose, Ken, and beat the mess out of my brother. And it was that day that I learned I never, ever wanted any of that in my life.
No, sir.
And I just remember my brother wailing, going, he did it. He did it. Pa didn't care. He just beat mess out of him.
And young Murphy just sat there. You just went,
I was just riding my Huffy.
I just wanted to ride my bike. That's all I wanted to do.
Oh, man. Dan's on the line. Dan, what's going on, brother?
Well, I'm actually on my way to a poker game.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, hit me up. Let me know.
There's a huge community of underground poker in southern Kentucky, middle Tennessee. And when I first moved down here from the north, I played a lot of poker up north. There was nowhere to play, and I was at my closing of the house, and I was talking about going to Vegas playing poker, and the guy says, I said, there's nowhere to play around here, and he goes, I know a place, and it opened my eyes to a whole new world, really. There is several. I can play 7 days a week. I actually run a game on Fridays during the week, and it's.
Hey, Dan, can I ask? Hey, Dan, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
You running a clean game over there?
Well, we do take a rake.
That's fine. I mean, that's clean. I just want to make sure it's a clean game.
It's a clean game. Never have any trouble, but they can get. There's some games that are bigger, high stakes, and you know what days to go on a high stake game. Whether it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, they're never at anybody's home. They're usually in some type of building, and they're set up quite nicely. They really cater to you. I mean, they serve you, if it's they'll serve you lunch, dinner, snacks, free, everything. I mean, it's, but usually the rate, is $1 for every $10 in the pot, up to $8. But you pay a table. The guy that owns the building, you pay a rent fee for each table that goes per hour. But it's a big community of poker players. I was surprised how big the community is in this area of poker players, and these guys just want to play. I know you talked about the clubs up in southern Kentucky, and I've been to them as well. But I'm not big on sitting down. One, you're paying to get in, and then you're paying by the hour. So really, the only players that are actually paying for that per hour is the one that is winning. So because the longer you sit, the more you're paying. And if you lose in something like that, next thing you know, you sit there for, 7 hours and play poker, and you got to get up and pay the house $100 and some dollars.
Yeah, I did the math on. I don't want to get too detailed because a lot of the audience probably doesn't give a rip, but I did the math on it, and it about equals out to it's about even to a rake. If you sit at a $12 rental for 6 hours, right? So
right,
you do the math on that, and then you do the math on how much would be raked from your stack in that amount of time on the pots that you play, and it about evens out. But hey, Dan, hit me up. Hit me up on social media. Let me know about those games, brother. I love getting in a good legal game.
Okay, I will do.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the call. I don't know exactly. I don't know what the laws are in the state of Tennessee. Look
it up?
No, Ken. Heck no. Isn't ignorance, I was going to ask you, isn't ignorance of the law an excuse, Ken? That's what I've always heard. Ignorance of the law is an excuse. Isn't that the way that phrase goes? That's what I thought.
I just do the news, boys. Yeah.
Every officer listening to this radio show would be happy to tell you, ignorance of the law is a perfectly valid excuse. Here's your ticket. I didn't know it was 55, officer. Oh, that's a valid excuse. Here's your ticket.
There's your ticket, bro.
I didn't know we couldn't take a rake, officer. Yes, you need to come with me, son. 22 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, if you're losing it, you're losing it. Gentlemen, you know who I'm talking to. If you are losing your hair, you need to do something about this. If your hair is thinning, if your crown is disappearing, if hair loss has you feeling like you're losing somewhat of your identity, I've got good news for you. It's an incredible and simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. It's guaranteed to grow for life. We're talking about the Advanced FUE treatment from Advanced Hair. Now, you perhaps have seen the pills. You've seen the lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. That's all well and good, and that might retain the hair that you've yet to lose, but it will never regrow the hair that you've completely lost. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class doctors, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It is guaranteed your hair will regrow and grow where you want it and how thick you want it and how much you want it. That's what it's all about, friends. So I invite you to call Advanced Hair today for a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR, or online at advancedhair.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for The Glock, a store. They just had their incredible, successful Vortex Day event, and so many of you went out to participate, and many of you won free Red Dot Optics, and congratulations to you. Well, now let's talk about the holidays, because you might not have thought of it this way, but the Glock store is a great place to celebrate with family or friends, any gathering of people. Maybe it's an office party that you're looking for. You can get it at the Glock store. It's a unique way to party, right? Because they will give you a beautiful room where you can bring food in and you can have all kinds of awesome times with family, friends, or coworkers. And then you also get a shooting room. A shooting room with a professional instructor. And you could go full auto on this thing. As a matter of fact, depending on the size of your party, you can get not just one, but 2 shooting rooms. Ask them about it when you make the call that so many others have made to the Glock store. I encourage you to go over to the online site, glockstore.com. That's glockstore.com. Or stop by the store on Airlane Drive, which is just off of Elm Hill Pike. Elm Hill Pike just off of Briley Parkway. And Briley Parkway, heck, it's minutes away from the airport and convenient to anywhere. Ask them about their incredible parties, but schedule right now because the big dates are wrapping up very, very quickly. So glockstore.com or shoot270.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Glock store.
A convicted sex offender arrested after being spotted multiple times at a dog park where he was not supposed to be because there are children and he was taking pictures. Details at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up at 5:30, nincompoops in the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, or just after the news at 5:30, I should say. The redheaded stranger has related the story to me via text message, and it's pretty good. I'll just, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I guess we just roll with it. We've got actual news to talk about, believe it or not. A bunch of us were down in Printer's Alley, had a good time. I'm going to read this as it's written to me. I hope this is okay, Pamela Furr.
Sister Pamela Furr is a good writer.
Oh, no, she's good. And I figured she wanted me to relate it. Otherwise, she could have called in and done it herself. But a bunch of us, she said, no, he got it all wrong. A bunch of us were down in Printer's Alley, had a good time. Lee Kennedy from Leaper's Fork Distillery paid for an Uber to get us all home safely. Well, that was nice. I was the first stop. Me, 2 passengers, and the Uber driver in the car. We get to my house, and as I'm unlocking my front door, everyone had gotten out of the car to pee. One peeing on a bush, one near my mailbox, and there was one that popped a squat right in my front yard. And I look at them all, and it's like, y'all, I have 2 toilets. So there you go. She said the Uber driver also went to the bathroom in her front yard. Nobody asked to use their toilets. That sounded like a hell of a party. It's 29 after the hour. Wayne wants to talk about some of the protests that have been going on. Hey, Wayne, what's up?
Hello there.
Hey, Wayne.
When I was a kid, the way they handled protesters was they got fire hoses out. Now, you have all these clowns throwing fireworks and smoke bombs and tear gas at all our ICE agents. You get the fire hoses out, and guess what? That takes care of all those. There's no bullets. Of course, there'll be some whiners about it, but hey.
Well, if there are individuals, I don't have a problem with it either. If there are individuals that are illegally gathering, holding up traffic, holding up basic commerce, involving themselves in areas where they should not be, if they have been told that they have to disperse and they refuse to disperse, I'm all about it, Wayne. Fire hoses, whatever you need to do to get them to disperse if they are illegally congregating. Now, I would say this, though. what happened Saturday, I don't care. The No Kings rallies doesn't bother me a bit. If these morons want to gather together and be all mad about Donald Trump and cry and, whine about it and talk about how we ought to have no kings, well, guess what? We don't have any kings. So long as they're not disrupting the flow of traffic, they're not disrupting commerce, and they're not doing anything that law enforcement would suggest that they're not allowed to do, I don't have a problem with those people. But if they start doing that, I'm right there with you, buddy. Pull out the fire hoses.
Those ones that are attacking all these ICE agents, that's just the way you take care of them.
That's right. I agree with that 100%. Wayne, thank you for the call. I got to scoot to the news. It's just after 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says a convicted sex offender's been arrested after being spotted multiple times at a Berry Hill dog park where there were children. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett reports.
Police arrested Louis Shaneberg. Witnesses say they saw him visiting Fair Park on Bransford Avenue, right there near the fairgrounds, this month. And at the time, several children were there. The witnesses say he would frequently take pictures in the park. Shaneberg was convicted for 6 crimes against a minor in 2008 and for attempted rape in 1997. It is against the law for any sexual offender to be in a public place where children under 18 are believed to be present.
Shaneberg charged with sex offender victim violation and booked into Metro Jail with a $75,000 bond. President Trump says he doesn't recall why he pardoned Binance co-founder Changpeng Zhao, who served prison time after pleading guilty to enabling money laundering on the world's largest crypto exchange.
I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that, are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything.
The White House claims that Zhao was unfairly targeted by the Biden administration's crackdown on cryptocurrency despite no fraud charges or direct victims. Zhao has since aligned with World Liberty Financial, a crypto firm launched by Trump's sons, which recently secured a $2 billion investment tied to Binance. NBA scandal linked to the mob. Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavs player and coach Damon Jones among more than 30 defendants, including purported organized crime figures charged in what federal prosecutors described as 2 schemes on illegal sports betting and high-tech poker cheating. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
Using their status as ex-players, Billups and Jones lured victims to poker games where secret card-reading wireless tech and signals to a conspirator at the table helped others cheat, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nisella.
The defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game.
He says NBA inside non-public information about league athletes and teams was used to attract wagers. The NBA says Billups and Heat player Terry Rozier are placed on leave as the league cooperates with investigators.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. The Gulch, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at Broadway. West Nashville, a crash 40 westbound at 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, exit 205. Over on the south side, police say there's a crash 40 westbound at Elm Hill Pike Overpass. And in Berry Hill now, a crash 65 northbound just past Armory Drive. Whites Creek got a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder. That's 24 westbound past Old Hickory Boulevard North, exit 40. Then in Brentwood, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 65 northbound past Concord Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Aaron Stokes and Eurofix. You know, Eurofix is just simply good at what they do. There's a lot of things that Americans are 50-50 split on, right? It might not be team affiliation, but we're always split on team affiliation. Working from home versus working from the office. So a lot of folks like coffee. Some folks don't. They like soda or tea. There's one thing that we do agree on, though. Taking your car in for repairs, well, it stinks. It can be complicated. Your repair's only as good as the person under the hood. Most of your problems that come from fixing your vehicle is a knowledge issue. It is not somebody trying to take advantage of you. A lot of techs are simply not properly trained, and they end up guessing what they're doing. That's not the case at Eurofix. Their highly paid technicians understand how to do what they do, and that is fix your automobile. Plus, free 15-minute no-wrench inspection. You know exactly what's going on before they start the work. And at Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company. They attract the best and the brightest that way. They still keep invoices low, though, because they keep overhead low. Eurofix has a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the work they perform, and rental cars are available. Get with Eurofix by going to myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com, or call them today at 844-EUROFIX. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, this isn't very hard for me. It seems to be harder for others, namely Democrats and those in the mainstream media, but I repeat myself, this doesn't seem very hard for me. I don't feel like it's hard for people with common sense. I hear this question all the time on the mainstream media. Who do we blame for the government shutdown, they say. Who's to blame? Who are the American people blaming? Are they blaming the Republicans? Are they blaming the Democrats? Are they blaming Donald Trump? Who's to blame? Why is that so hard? How about we blame the political party that has prevented reopening the government 12 separate times on 12 separate occasions? A vote has been held to either keep or reopen the government. And 12 separate times, every Republican, save Rand Paul, every Republican has voted to do so. And 12 separate times, the majority of the Democrats have voted against it. Now, I say the majority of Democrats because there are some cracks. John Fetterman voted to reopen the government today. John Ossoff voted to reopen the government today. You know why? You know why Ossoff voted that way? I bet y'all can figure it out. John Ossoff, the wimpy senator from Georgia. 3 guesses as to why he voted to reopen the government, and the first 2 don't count. Oh, that's right. He's up for re-election next year in a very purple state. I'd go ahead and say it's more red than anything, but sadly, a lot of the voters out of the ATL have decided to go a different direction when it comes to their political votes. Plus, there's a lot of dead voters in Atlanta, but more on that at some other time. So why is this so difficult for so many people? I hear it all the time. Who's to blame for the government shutdown? The people that continue to vote to keep the government shut down are to blame for the government shutdown. That would be the Democrats. That would be Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. Period. End of the discussion. Yeah, but they want to negotiate. Shut up. Yeah, but they want to try to negotiate. Shut up. Who's to blame for the shutdown? They are. They are keeping the government shut down. Nothing else matters. And they got if Republicans hold the line, they got a problem on their hands, because when some of their voters, i.e. the SNAP benefit holders, start missing out on their food stamps on November 1st, what are they going to do? They're going to continue to blame the Republicans for shutting it down? Yeah, but Matt, there's negotiations that need to happen. Just stop it. Just stop it. They're holding the government hostage because they're mad. They got their lips pooched out. And oh, by the way, if you don't believe me, if the Republicans were doing the same thing, if the Republicans were in the minority and the Republicans were holding out, do you think for a moment that CNN would leave this story? Do you think for a moment that MSNBC would leave this story? Do you think for a moment that CBS, ABC, NBC, and the rest of the alphabet soup networks, do you think for a moment that the New York Times and the Washington Post would leave this story? Do you think that they would focus on anything else other than the government shutdown 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? That's the way they did it when it happened during Barack Obama. That's the way they did it when it happened with Trump 1.0. It's all they would talk about. I'm elephantine. I remember these things, right? It's all they would talk about. Why are they not focused singularly on the government shutdown? Because they know who's to blame. And when they cover it, the only thing that I hear is, well, who's to blame? Hard to say. It's so hard to say who's to blame, guys. Oh, you mean there's one party that consistently votes to reopen the government, and there's another party that consistently votes to keep the government shut down, and it's just so difficult to figure it out. What kind of morons do you think you're talking to? Ugh. Sorry, boys. I had to put on my rant pants for a minute.
That's all right, Brother Murphy.
How hard is this? Now, I promise you, if the Republicans could be blamed for this solely and completely, it's all that they would be discussing right now, because we've seen it happen in the past. But they know that the Democrats are the ones voting for the shutdown consistently. And so anytime they cover it, it's like, oh, they scratch their heads. Oh, we're so confused. We can't figure it out. Let's go to the polls and let's see what the polls think. Hey, Jax.
Yes?
Will you do me a favor?
What? Find you an underground poker game? I got some leads.
Do you? Make sure it's legal.
Rumor has it there's going to be a couple NBA stars.
You think so?
And a couple of members of the Bonanno crime family.
What would your crime family name be? Somebody sent mine in. It's Murfolino.
Murfolino.
But let me tell you, hey, fellas, if I told y'all that an Italian restaurant was opening up and it was called Murfolino's, y'all'd want to go, wouldn't you?
Bet they have a killer cannoli.
Oh, I bet they got some fettuccine Alfredo that you would die for. Let's hit the music. Let's go in. Who's to blame for the government shutdown? Good gracious. What are you talking? I mean, I just saw this garbage on #NeverCNN. I watched so you don't have to. Who's to blame? Hard to say. You know, there's one political party that has voted 12 times to keep or reopen the government, and one political party that keeps it shut. And you're confused about who the. I got to stop talking about this. I got to start talking about the name.
No, keep ranting with the funny music behind you.
You like that?
Really gives off a serious vibe.
Believe it or not, I got another poop story. This is my brother.
Just keep crapping these out, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. That was a bad joke, but you...
Ken will give you... that was a little pity laugh from Weaver. That was a little pity laugh. All right, I won yesterday, so I get to go first.
All right, Brother Murphy.
Concerns over AI surveillance in schools have intensified after armed officers swarmed a 16-year-old student outside of Kenwood High School in Baltimore. Sounds rough, guys. Sounds tough. They swarmed him because an AI gun detection system went off and flagged him for having a firearm. It turns out what the AI gun detection system was actually flagging was, y'all want to guess? Anybody want to guess? What did he actually have? Hint, it was not a firearm.
I know because I was going to do this one.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll just go ahead and tell you. It was a bag of Doritos.
You know, Doritos firearm?
You know, it's
a
easy.
toss-up.
It's an easy mistake
I
to
make
make.
that mistake all the time in the chip aisle.
I know it's all. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I thought I got chips, and look here, this is a 32. Who knew?
Oh, no, this is a Glock 40.
That's my bad, I suppose. Oh, no, this is a bag of Cool Ranch. Takai Allen or Taki Allen, Taki, I don't know.
Either one.
What do you think, Ken? Mr. Allen.
I'd call him Taki.
Taki Allen was hanging out with his friends after football practice on October 20th when multiple police cars suddenly pulled up. It was like 8 cop cars that came pulling up for us, Allen told WBAL television. They started walking toward me with guns, talking about, get on the ground, get on the ground. And I was like, what? They made me get on my knees. I put my hand behind my back. They cuffed me. Then they searched me and found nothing. Allen was handcuffed at gunpoint. Police later showed him an AI-captured image that triggered the alert. It was a crumpled bag of Doritos in his pocket that had been mistaken for a gun. I was mainly like, am I going to die? Are they going to kill me? They showed me the picture, said it looks like a gun, and I was like, no, that's chips. The AI system behind the incident is part of the gun detection technology that was introduced in the Baltimore County Public Schools last year. It scans existing surveillance footage and alerts police in real time when it detects what it believes to be a weapon. The system originators OmniAlert later admitted the incident was, quote, a false positive, but they claimed the system, quote, functioned as intended, saying its purpose was to prioritize safety and awareness through rapid human verification. The Baltimore County Public School System echoed the company's statement in a letter to parents offering counseling services to students impacted by the incident. How much y'all want to bet young Mr. Allen here and his family will be suing the Baltimore school system and the OmniAlert system for an undisclosed amount of money and probably get a tidy settlement, enough to buy plenty of bags?
Sounds like to me the system did its job.
Well, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, you know, in all seriousness, Ken, I mean, I wonder if the foil, because, you know, those bags, they've got like that foil interior.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the foil, when it got crumpled up,
it was in the shape, and
maybe in
that's
the shape
what it hit on.
Maybe so.
But
Maybe
yeah,
so.
they're probably getting cards and letters from attorneys they don't even know.
Oh, yeah. Allen says, no one has apologized. They just told me it was protocol. Well, kid, you know what? We live in a rough and tumble world, and we're trying to protect your life, so I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that was the 80s.
Well, a false alert, that was the 80s. A false alert on a bag of Doritos, that's my nincompoop. Jackson.
All right. I've got one way back 1993. On this day in history, man seen crapping on the side of the interstate on a section of interstate in between Madison, Georgia, and Thompson, Georgia. Matthew Murphy claimed an oyster stew malfunction was the cause of this strange occurrence.
An oyster stew malfunction.
Mr. Murphy can be seen here in the video. Let's go to picture-in-picture.
Oh, the dog bit it. Oh, that's a good one, Jackson. That's a pretty good nincompoop. I don't know. I think the statutes run on it, but we'll let it go.
No pun intended.
Yeah, that's right. Ken Weaver.
Man admits to drinking after crashing into apartment complex in Nashville suburb. He's in jail after he crashed his SUV into an apartment complex in the Wedgwood, Houston area early Thursday morning, according to Channel 4. Officers with the Metro Police Department responded to a call for a vehicle crash at the Queens apartment complex on Hagen Street just before 2 a.m. They arrived and found 35-year-old Cody Killian still in the driver's seat of a black Infiniti SUV that had crashed into the apartment. When asked how much alcohol he had to drink, Killian responded, "Too much." After refusing to perform a field sobriety test, Killian was taken into custody and said, "I deserve a DUI." He was booked into the Davidson County Jail and charged with driving under the influence, but other charges may be pending.
Jeez, Manila. We could probably, if we did enough sleuthing, it's too bad that old Scoop Nashville's not still around. Remember old Scoop Nashville?
I do remember that.
Because with Scoop Nashville around, we could just do Nashville-centric nincompoops all the time.
Well, he was,
he could find them.
That was nincompoopery every story.
Every story and run amok. That's how we play nincompoops of the news. I don't know that Jackson is eligible to win. But,
I think I'm going to win.
but there you go. His is a pretty old one, but you can vote Weaver, vote Murphy, vote Jackson if you must. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is finally here at Genesis Diamonds. And friends, I strongly encourage, if you have a loved one in your life, ladies, if you're listening and you know that the hubby has long wanted a Rolex for those special occasions that you go out to, or guys, maybe it's your loved one in your life, she's looking for a ladies' watch in a Rolex fashion. Well, it's time to get to this epic pre-owned luxury Rolex event featuring stunning new selections of these hard-to-find watches like Submariners, Daytonas, Sky Dwellers, Pepsis, Batmans, and many, many more. Men's and women's watches are available during this event. You can take advantage of the special pricing and up to 60 months zero-interest financing from Genesis Diamonds. And listen to this. With the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex watch at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 4-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings of the highest quality at absolutely no cost to you. That's right, free, F-R-E-E. And if you're already a Rolex owner, don't forget, you can upgrade or you can sell outright. Genesis buyers will be on site. This Friday, this Saturday, it's the big one. It's the huge Genesis Diamonds pre-owned Rolex event. Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details while supplies last.
We'll tell you about that federal probe into Senator Adam Schiff coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's a crying shame what's happening right now on the Super Text line. Let me tell y'all.
What is it, Brother Murphy?
Crying shame, Ken.
I'm landsliding it, bud.
Oh, Brother Jackson's winning.
Jackson Williams defies the rules of Nincompoops in the News, makes up a slanderous story about your humble host and correspondent, Matt Murphy, makes up a fake quotation that I, to your knowledge, never said, and he's winning Nincompoops in the News. Slanderous. It got me so upset, I went outside right before we came back on the air, and I had a big old handful of raisins. And I regret that. I have regrets because now not only do I have the sticky hands, I got raisins all in my teeth.
And in your belly.
And in my belly. I hope they don't react like the oysters did. That was some bad stew, man. Bad stew.
That's a big old box of raisins that fella bought us.
Oh, man, oh, man. You know, he got those for Benson.
Yeah, because Chad said he hated
Because Chad said he hated raisins. And I came I was like, I like raisins. And, you know, as opinionated as I am, I like to say that I try not to make a matter of taste a matter of fact. And a lot of people do that, right? And I guess it's human nature. Because they make a matter of taste a matter of fact. And what I mean by that is saying the statement, raisins are awful. No offense to Chad. I love Chad. But raisins are awful. Well, that's a matter of taste.
Yes, sir.
No, they're awful. No, well, they're awful to you. Other people like them. How about that?
A lot of people do like them.
And I do like them. But they're not good for a radio show. They give you the sticky hands and they get in your teeth.
Don't smile too wide, Brother Murphy.
That's rude. Sucking on my teeth's rude. I apologize. I'm beside myself because Jackson's winning on my shame has given him a victory tonight. Well, I guess you need them where you can get them. Not going to get many for the baseball team this year.
Oh, it's time for the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. A federal probe into Senator Adam Schiff over alleged mortgage fraud has reportedly hit a standstill. Prosecutors say they lack the evidence needed to move forward, though the case remains open. Schiff denies any accusations. He calls the investigation a political attack. Meanwhile, President Trump says he doesn't recall why he pardoned Binance co-founder Changpeng Zhao, who served prison time after pleading guilty to enabling money laundering on the world's largest crypto exchange.
Let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime.
White House claims Zhao was unfairly targeted by the Biden administration's crackdown on cryptocurrency despite no fraud charges or direct victims. Zhao has since aligned with World Liberty Financial, a crypto firm launched by Trump's sons, which recently secured a $2 billion investment tied to Binance. Target is cutting 1,800 corporate jobs as part of a major restructuring effort. The company says the move will streamline operations and eliminate overlapping roles with no impact to store or warehouse staff. NBA scandal allegedly involving the mob. Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavs player and coach Damon Jones among more than 30 people arrested in a gambling-related probe. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
Billups and Jones used their status as ex-players to attract victims to poker games rigged by high-tech card reading and wireless communication to steal millions of dollars total, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nusella.
The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
He says NBA insiders used non-public info about athletes and teams to attract bets. The investigation started in 2019.
Yeah, the feds claim people were cheated out of hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. And right now in Nashville, Jennifer Pittman telling Channel 4 her concerns have not been addressed since 2 weeks ago when a car went airborne and through the roof of her home on Smith Springs Road in the Una area.
I had submitted a request to the Hub Nashville, and they responded and said that guardrails aren't for our property protection, it's to protect the motorist. Within the last few years, it's been just ridiculous around here. Cars pass cars in the turning lane. Speed limit's 40, they're doing well over 40.
2 people in that vehicle were taken to a hospital. Neighboring homes suffered some property damage before the car went airborne. Metro Police investigating the incident. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. The Gulch. We've got a crash reported 40 eastbound at Broadway, south side, 40 westbound at Elm Hill Pike Overpass, Berry Hill, 65 northbound past Armory Drive. In Clarksville, a crash reported by the Highway Patrol, 24 eastbound near Rossview Road. Back over here on I-40 in West Nashville, police reporting a crash 40 westbound at 46th Avenue, 51st Avenue, exit 205. In Brentwood, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 65 northbound past Concord Road. And in Whites Creek, got a stalled vehicle, right shoulder block, 24 westbound past Old Hickory Boulevard, north exit 40. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Happy to have you with us for the final hour of this Thursday edition, October 23rd edition. Man, it's hard to believe. Ooh, I just realized something. Halloween's on a Friday night. Huh. I don't, you know, honestly, I don't know why that matters to me. I'll be at home one way or the other.
It used to matter to me whenever I had to wake up early in the morning and come in here on Nashville's Morning News.
Do you,
But that doesn't matter now.
would you turn the lights off, Ken?
I'd turn the lights off. I wouldn't give out anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd keep it all for myself. In fact, I'd take theirs.
Ken's out here chasing all the kids in woodpecker costumes with bricks.
I figured out a way to keep the kids away. I've got my standard outfit on Halloween. I've got an official Alabama Department of Corrections orange jumpsuit.
From when they found you crapping on the road?
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's what you have to wear when you get put in the pokey for crapping on. That was in Georgia. Thank you very much. This official Alabama Department of Corrections outfit was for another.
That's a good one.
Another, piece of malfeasance.
They let you take a souvenir?
I put that on, and I put my black boots on, and I stuffed the bottoms of that orange jumpsuit in the black boots. And then I've got one of these, the Day of the Dead masks like you see in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got one of those masks, and I've got an orange skull cap. So I put the orange skull cap on and put the Day of the Dead mask on, and I've got black gloves, black boots, the orange jumpsuit, and I get a machete.
Dang, Brother Murphy.
And then I take a lawn chair and I sit up a little. We've done this in our neighborhood in Mount Juliet. I take a lawn chair and I set that lawn chair up, and I put a bucket of candy right beside the lawn chair, and I get me a big old tall glass of fire water. And I sat there with the fire water in my lap and the machete across my lap on the chair. And if any kid wants to be boy enough or girl enough to come and get them a piece of candy, they're welcome. I don't move. Some of them do. Most of them just walk on by, Ken, and that's how I make sure that I have plenty of candy for me. You know what I mean? Later on. Although this year I think we're giving out like almost full-sized. I mean, I think we're doing something, I don't know, special. I don't know.
Y'all give out some of them raisins.
Yeah, I wonder what a kid would do.
That's how you get your house TP'd.
No, those are 12-ounce boxes of raisins. Those are huge. I wonder what a kid would do if you put one of those big old boxes of raisins in his bucket.
Y'all ever go TPing?
There you go, kid. I never TP'd. We had another method of destruction that I don't like talking about because I think the statute of limitations is not up on that. It involved we called it the AMD, the anti-mailbox device.
Oh, a baseball bat?
It was not a baseball bat, but it was bigger than it was a large piece of pine wood.
Somebody put a dead fish in my mailbox one time.
Huh. Former girlfriend?
Nope, they just rolled my house and then put dead fish in the mailbox.
Rolled your house, did they?
Yeah, we have a good rolling house.
What did they roll your house for, Jackson?
It was like an annual prank war.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of fish?
Bluegill, Ken.
Big old bluegill?
Little one.
Big old tuna. Stuffed it in there.
A shark.
No, Jackson. I never TP'd anyone's house.
Ken, what about you?
Yes, sir. I did.
Well, there you go. Happens time to time.
Yeah.
Some people deserve it.
I was a youngster.
Youngster shenanigans. We all got into some shenanigans as youngsters.
What is the statute of limitations before I start talking?
Oh, no, you're fine. TP in houses?
No, there's something else.
Did it involve federal property?
State property.
No, I just leave that one alone, brother.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd leave that one alone.
What, were you in this state?
Yes.
Yeah.
This city.
Oh.
If you were ancient like Ken or myself, then I would say
okay.
You'd be fine. But considering that you're of an age that this happened, 2 years ago?
About 8 years ago.
Yeah,
I'd keep it on the DL for now.
We'll talk about it in one day.
Ask Brother Jay about it tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then I can do it for my nincompoops.
What? Give me a little hint. What did it involve, hypothetically speaking?
So I'm going to put it this way. For our senior prank, we wanted to create a maze using a certain road device to direct cars through a certain drop-off line.
Mm-hmm. Drop-off line as in school drop-off?
Yes. That was our senior prank.
Road device as in a sign that pointed people in a particular direction?
No, it more aligns a path.
Okay.
When they don't want you to go somewhere, what do they put up? There's a bunch of them.
I got you. I got like cones and whatnot and big, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'd get in trouble for that, Brother Jackson.
Yeah, that'll get you in a spot of bother.
Then I wasn't there.
As a matter of fact, I feel like it's the duty of Ken Weaver, news director, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, to go ahead and call that one in.
Kind of investigate this story?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as an investigative reporter yourself, Ken, if the story leads you to wrongdoing, the wrongdoers have to be prosecuted. So in this case, Jackson, that would make you the woodpecker. And Brother Ken Weaver
going to hit me with the book of the law.
He's got a brick of the law that's coming your way. Mike is in Old Hickory. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
I'm good, Mike.
Have you ever heard of a movie called Blue Chips with Nick Nolte?
I have heard of that movie, yes, sir.
And that was a basketball program, right?
I've never seen it, so I don't know. I've just heard
it. Watch it. Pull it up and watch it. And it was all about corruption, payoffs, mafia, and that was made in 1994. And what we're having now today in the NBA is a growing, and I guarantee you, Matt, this is a scandal beyond the Chicago Black Sox. This is involving players, coaches, owners, stateswide. The NBA now is trying to do the best they can. They're not going to do it. This is a scandal, the biggest sports scandal in history. And that's why I'm asking you, if you want to watch sports scandals in basketball, pull up Blue Chips with Nick Nolte, because it proved it back then. That was 31 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That gambling and the mafia, you've got two sports, NFL, NBA, that combined are over $100 billion a year in revenue. You think that the mafia is going to walk away from that? No way.
Well, I mean, you know what? I'm learning things, and I don't know about the NBA side of it. I don't know. I mean, obviously there are aspects of this story that I've not delved into, such as the possibility of shaving points or over-under shaving or whatever it might be, and the mafia's involvement and that sort of thing. I don't know about that. But I delved in a little bit before the show into the poker aspect of this. And the fact, I had no idea that they have X-ray tables that you can purchase that, unbeknownst to anyone other than that person that gets the X-ray, you can see the cards that are on the table. And it looks like a regular felt table. And apparently that's what the mafia was using. Or someone, whomever was responsible for this, I don't know if it's the mafia in that case, but whoever it was using in order to cheat the system. It wasn't. I've heard that it was a card shuffler device, but it was also X-rays on the felt that would allow them to see through the felt and actually see the cards that the individuals had. Millions of Americans who rely on food stamp benefits could be among the next casualties of the ongoing government shutdown, a shutdown, as we described last hour, that is solely at the feet of the Democrats. The Democrats control the shutdown. How do I know that? Because there have been votes, on-record votes. It's not hard, folks. Anybody that tells you this is difficult, they're either trying to change the subject, they're trying to adjust or shift blame, or they are, I don't think they're examining the story I mean, it's not that hard to understand. The Democrats want to negotiate off things that have already been passed and signed into law, things like the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and whatnot, and they're holding the American system of government hostage in order to do so. That's it. There have been 12 votes, 12 votes now. And in every one of them, every Republican, save Rand Paul, has voted to reopen the government. Now, there apparently is no end in sight on this. And apparently you have 500,000 civilian federal employees that will not receive a paycheck tomorrow. Now, understand, I get it that most of the American people have not really noticed that this government shutdown is ongoing, but they're about to, because sad as it is to say, 42 million people in the United States of America use the SNAP food stamp program. 42 million. And they are in danger of not receiving aid come November 1st, when the program's funds are expected to run dry. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has now warned state agencies in a memo, which was obtained earlier today by Fox News, that indicates that more than 24 states, at least, are going to have possible lapses in funding. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin declared a state of emergency over SNAP benefits today. It requires about $8 billion. Good Lord, have mercy. We spend $8 billion a month on SNAP benefits nationwide. $8 billion a month. That is ridiculous. I'm sorry, folks. There are not that many people that absolutely have to have the safety net that is designed to be food stamps. Food stamps was designed to be a safety net, only when absolutely necessary. It was never designed to be a permanent means of feeding your children or your family. Reverend Eugene Cho, president and CEO of Bread for the World, a nonprofit hunger advocacy group, said it requires about $8 billion each month for SNAP benefits. When there's no funding, it impacts not just pockets of people, it's going to impact people around the country. Well, folks, that's the Democrats. And one would presume that a lot of these SNAP benefit recipients, these food stamp recipients, that's their voters. Is that an unfair assumption for me to make? That these are Democrat voters by and large? I mean, I assume there's some Republicans smattered in there, sure. But for the most part. Now, I could go off on a rant about why we have 42 million people dependent on SNAP, why we have 42 million people dependent on food stamps, and how you could better organize the system in order to eliminate those people who are able-bodied workers, get those folks back to work, maybe doing some of the jobs that the illegal labor community is no longer doing because they're leaving the country in droves based on Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal alien activity in the United States of America. But that's a different subject. The subject today is whether or not the media, once people who receive SNAP benefits are going to go without, whether the media is going to actually blame the people who are responsible, who are clearly keeping the government shut down. There's one group of people keeping the government shut down. That's the Republicans. I mean, rather the Democrats. The Republicans are not to blame. How would you say that? How could anyone argue that it's a debate? I don't understand the debate. Am I being obtuse? Am I being myopic? Do I not get it? Or is it the knuckleheads in the mainstream media that don't get it? I am happy. By the way, John Thune offered an open vote on extension of health care benefits in the Senate. Offered that to the Democrats, and they said no. They want the government to remain shut. They don't care. They've become governmental nihilists. And I think more and more people are seeing through it. It's 21 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, friends, Volunteer Outfitters. Now, they've closed up shop for the evening, but I want you to keep them in mind tomorrow and this weekend. Tommy and his team, they open up early, they stay open, and they keep it. I mean, let me tell you something. They keep it real when it comes to their pricing. They want to obviously keep the price point low, lower than the guys in Nashville. They do so, but they have the quality brands that you know and love. Absolutely. Every time I go up there, I shop. Every time I go up there, I buy something from Drake or from Huck or from Bandit or from one of the major manufacturers that they carry with their incredible lines of shoes. They've got footwear at Volunteer Outfitters. They've got something for the game day. Whether you're a Vols fan or you're a fan of another SEC squad or maybe another team from around the country, odds are they're going to have some team gear for you at Volunteer Outfitters. Plus, they've got everything for the hunter or the fisherman in your life. They've got something for those guys or gals at Volunteer Outfitters. Plus, don't forget about T-Shirt Tuesday. That's right. Tuesdays, if you purchase something at Voluntary Outfitters, you get yourself a free T-shirt. And I don't care what you're buying. As a matter of fact, sometimes I extend that to T-shirt Wednesdays. We call that Matt Murphy T-shirt Wednesdays at Voluntary Outfitters. Go by and see them. They're on New Shackle Island Road. If you get off Vietnam Veterans Parkway and take a left, you'll see them down on the left. Tell Tommy and the team that Matt Murphy sent you to the shop that I heartily recommend, just down the road from those higher prices at Volunteer Outfitters. You know, it's hard to enjoy your family and your life in your home when you know that you have bugs. I mean, I think we would all agree with that, right? Well, do you know whether or not you have them? If you see one or two that you see inside of the house, maybe it's a cockroach or maybe it's an ant, fire ant or otherwise, one of those, my grandma used to call them sugar ants. Or perhaps you hear something in the basement or the crawl space that sounds like it might be a rodent. Well, it probably is, and there are probably more, and you probably need to deal with that, and you need to do so with U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest is simply the best. J.K. and Erica Brester are great at what they do. They're good people. They're great Americans, and they run a fine company. So fine, as a matter of fact, they're always looking for additional folks. If you're looking for work and you're a hard worker, you need to contact U.S. Pest, and I'll give you the telephone number here in just a moment. But if you're looking for pest control, if you're simply not satisfied with your current provider, or perhaps you don't have one, you need to get one, especially during the wintertime. People make this mistake and think, oh, wintertime, no bugs. No, they just come into your house. They live in your walls. In your walls. You need to get them out of there. U.S. Pest. Call 590-1260. That's 615-590-1260 or online at uspest.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I took a glance over at the Super Text line there, Jackson. By the way, congratulations on your victory tonight. Although I'm throwing a flag on that victory, I'm doing whatever I need to do. If I have to go to the official Super Talk 99.7 WTN home offices and file a complaint with you, I'm going to do so. I feel like that's in clear violation of the rules of the game of Nincompoops in the News, that you would use me as a nincompoop. I don't think
you were nincompooping all over the side of the highway. What was I going to do?
Well, fair enough. 2075, for those of you still young enough to do it, 2075 says, I suggest using Angel Soft TP for rolling. I do not suggest using Angel Soft TP for wiping. I suppose that's fair enough. 9412 says the mailbox thing been decades waiting for y'all to fess up. No financial damage. I had a free spare. I'm just glad no, man, it wasn't me. We Tim Smith and I went out and we spent a fall into a winter. I'm not proud of it. I mean, this was bad, y'all. It was bad. It was, I don't know, a way to get out teenage anxiety. I don't know what it was. But I know this, that there was one night that we went down with our AMD and we were going to do some damage, and we pulled up on a dirt road and pulled up to a mailbox. And do you want to talk about a pucker factor? When you pull up to a mailbox and it's all dark at the house that you're in front of, and headlights in the driveway that you did not see come on as soon as you pull over, and then you get away, and then that car chases you, and it's like you're in a movie, and yet you're not driving a vehicle like Steve McQueen. You're driving some ratty old Toyota pickup truck, and the car behind you, whatever it is gaining on you, and it's a grown-ass man in the front seat, and you're some snot-nosed 16-year-old teenager. That's when you stop with that type of shenanigans. And you count yourself lucky that you didn't end up with a knot on your head.
Been there, done that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know, Joseph. I mean, no, I was kind of a Buford Pusser type, but I was only 16 years old. Take it to the Super Talk Appellate Court. That's a good idea, Josh. Josh says I should take it to the Super Talk Appellate Court. I don't know where that is, but I'm going to find out in office, and we'll figure it out.
It's right here.
Dadgummit. I thought we were done with that. I thought we were done with the one-finger salutes. Take a lot of liberties in there when you're not on camera, pal. It's day 23 of the Democrat shutdown. We'll continue to discuss, and I am hesitant to bring this up, but I feel it necessary. I don't know if Candace Owens ever had it. Many would believe that she did. And I was here for it. But Candace Owens has lost her mind. Mentally unhinged. Mentally unhinged. And it's sad because she could have such an influence on so many people. And she is choosing to throw that influence away for conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy. And you forgive so many of them. But I cannot forgive the latest one. We'll tell you what we're talking about next on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to help you guys. Guys, if you're of a certain age, odds are that you've noticed that maybe the want to is still there when it comes to intimacy or romantic relationship will bring with it. But perhaps the can do leaves a little something to be desired. If you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, or drive, whether it's bedroom activity or at the gym or getting work done outside, this could be a result of a lowered testosterone level. This happens naturally in men throughout the course of their life, but you can do something about it. Guys, it's 2025. It's not 1975 anymore. Let's get with the plan. Let's get with the program. Let's get with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Do not trust online sites. Do not trust pills that oftentimes do not work. Trust their qualified urologist at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. 3 locations. One is in Cool Springs, another location in Midtown, that's the OG, and then a brand new spot in Clarksville. It is time to get this taken care of, men. Let's get back in the ball game with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Call them today at 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. I never understood the appeal of the, by the way, 38 after the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson and I were just talking about random pranks. We were talking TP in people's houses. We were talking about, egging people's houses.
I never did that one. Did you?
No. I never did any of this stuff. And I never actually said that I destroyed a mailbox either. If you go back and listen to my commentary,
Me neither, bud.
Not me.
Never touched them. That's a federal offense.
The old, what was it called when you would take the bag of poo and light that on fire and ring the doorbell?
A stomper.
The old.
Because they try to stomp it out.
Fire steamer, yeah.
Yeah, it's a stomper.
But I never understood the appeal of the ding-dong ditch.
It's funny. It's really funny.
You ring the doorbell, and the person has to come to the door, and then when they get to the door, there's nobody there. And that's it, right?
Yeah, we just thought it was fun. Or not we. Some people think that's fun.
Some folks
get their jollies.
We know of people that have done these types of things in the past, and they just think it's funny. Now, you know what would be funny? Be funny if you did it and then you ran to the back door and you did it at the back door and you ran back to the front door. See how many times you can do that.
See how many times you can get them go around in a circle.
You know what I mean? Do the front door and then come to the back door and then go back to the front door. Of course, at some point, they're going to grab a stick and they're going to start wailing on you with it.
44, and you've earned it.
And you've earned it. 4460 wants an official review of the Reese's and Oreo bundt cake from last evening. Jackson Williams, I did not take one because I knew that I would eat the entire thing on the way home. So Jackson got one of them, and Cameron Smith received 2 for his beasts at home. Jackson, your review.
10 out of 10. That was the best thing. Best thing I ate all day.
Man. Look good.
It was filled with peanut butter. It was excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very kind of you, 4460.
Dick Vitale.
Oh, yeah. It was that's right. It was Dick Vitale that sent us that as a thank you for the show yesterday, which most people loved and a couple of people absolutely 100% hated.
You told me you got emails about it.
I got hatred for yesterday's show. I got a lot. There were, in particular, there was a couple of folks that did not find it funny at all. Thought it was in mean spirit and was accusing me of playing the music.
And well, you did.
Don't. It's not me.
Matt, I was just like, Matt, let's play some happy stuff today to try to get me in a better mood. Matt's like, nope, breakup songs from 3 to 7.
That's exactly what happened, everyone. If you listened to the show yesterday, that's precisely what happened. I'll tell you what did not happen. Donald Trump was not complicit in the death of Charlie Kirk. I hesitate to do this, folks. You have to be so careful. Use the brain that God gave you. I understand that our government is willing to lie to us. I understand that there have been instances that we can point to in which the government has lied to us. I understand that there are questions, and you need to follow those questions and try to get answers as best we can about the things that impact and affect our lives. But there also comes a point where what's happening around us is sad and, dare I say, evil. Now, I don't know Candace Owens. I've never met her. But I have followed the arc of her career. She lives in Nashville, it's my understanding, or around Nashville, and we have attempted to have her on the show in the past, and she's never responded to any effort that we've made to have her on my show. I suppose, and maybe rightly so, that someone of Candace's esteemed status would consider it beneath her to come on a radio show like this one. I would love to debate her. I would love to have a conversation with her. Not even to debate her, just have a conversation with her. And as you well know, my doors are open to everyone, no matter your political affiliation, and no matter if I think you're insane or not. And sadly, I'm here to tell you, I think Candace Owens has either gone insane or she's not a good human being. Here's what I'm talking about. Give me a little, you got me a little video going on? Here's what I'm talking about.
I just really needed to just take a breather and really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know. We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you.
All right, so What Candace Owens is now saying, and it's sad. It's dangerous. People believe this garbage. It is garbage. Typically, if you're going to accuse one or a group of people of murder, you would think that one would bring receipts. She does not. She just says, well, you just know. And then she says, oh, well, if they name something after you, then, well, you know that they killed you. So what Candace Owens is doing here is without any, and look, I'm not against asking any questions. People are, she's just asking questions, Matt. No, that doesn't work that way. You don't get to just say garbage, spew the nastiest, grossest garbage out of your mouth and defend yourself. I go, hey, I'm just asking questions. Candace Owens worships the devil and is an agent of evil. Isn't she? Hey, I'm just asking questions. Right? You see how that doesn't work? You would expect, hey, Matt, you can't say that without having some evidence. Hey, is Candace Owens an agent of Satan? Hey, man, I'm just asking questions. Well, that's not right, is it? Of course it isn't. But what she has said, and I'm sad for her, because while I do not know her, it feels like her desire to be an influencer, her desire to have her ego fed, not necessarily a desire for the truth, but a desire to be recognized as someone who found the truth, has led her down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theory to the point that she is now saying that Donald Trump killed Charlie Kirk. That's what she said. Now, she will hide behind, I didn't say, no, you listen to what I said. Oh, no, I didn't say that. That's what she always does. She hides behind being mushy and nuanced in language. You just saw and listened to what she said. What do you take away from that? You take away from that Candace Owens believes that Donald Trump killed Charlie Kirk. And what you have to believe, if you believe that, is that Turning Point USA is in on it. Because Turning Point USA hasn't turned their backs on Donald Trump, and they deny the narrative that Candace Owens has created about Charlie Kirk. They deny that Charlie Kirk was turning his back on Israel, which is the premise behind the garbage conspiracy theory that she's spewing. That Charlie was turning his back on Israel, and as a result of him turning his back on Israel, Israel had him killed, and Donald Trump knew about it, and Donald Trump agreed to it. I only bring it up because I beg of you to use the brains that God gave you. Use a level of discernment in who you follow and who you believe. Not everything is a rabbit hole of conspiracy. Are there issues with the federal government lying to us? Of course. Have there always been those issues? Of course. Have there always been secrets? Of course. But not everything that happens in front of our faces is a conspiracy. Not everything involves this special, it's tinfoil hat wearing on steroids, and I beg of you not to fall for it. And I'm sad for this person. I'm sad because she's never going to get what she seeks. She's not. And it's making her more and more mentally unstable and unhinged as a result of not getting it, which is the clout that she thinks she deserves. I know that it is hard for those of you that listen to my radio show that also follow her or support her to accept this. And I know that I'm certain that many of you will now be announcing to me, proclaiming to me that you're never going to listen to me again because I don't have my eyes open. Your eyes aren't open, Murphy. I'm sad for you too. But know this woman is either crazy or she's evil. Straight up. And I don't know which is worse. 10 minutes until the top of the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
thoughts on. I mean, she claimed that she was still friends, in good standing with Charlie and Turning Point USA, despite that they're split. And Charlie Kirk made a point not to talk about these personal issues. And so, gosh, I would try to do the same thing. Hey, can the people on the YouTube?
They can now.
Oh, did you have it turned off for some reason?
I did.
Huh. What's up with that, Jackson?
My fault.
You getting a little tired?
No, I just forgot to put it back on. I had to play the ad.
A little worn down? Oh, no, I'll get that.
Our stream ad.
Well, I'm glad that you got it pulled back up because I do want to share this with you away from the other storyline. I don't agree with Josh Hawley about many things. I do agree with him about other things, and I most certainly agree with him about this, and it's being put in a way that I have not quite heard it. Here's Josh Hawley on the issue of the White House tearing down the East Wing for the purpose of building a ballroom.
What about just uprooting this is an iconic building?
Manu, I will just say this. I made this point yesterday, that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're very concerned about our history. Really, these are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years. Christopher Columbus, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt. They didn't have any concern for history then. Now all of a sudden, like, the facade of the East Wing is iconic. Oh, give me a break.
Oh, he's so right. He's so and should be given all the due credit that he deserves. He's so exactly right. These same people that are, oh no, they're tearing down the East Wing. Whatever. These people don't know what the hell they're talking about. And oh, by the way, they wanted every statue, every historically significant statue having anything to do with Christopher Columbus or Thomas Jefferson, or certainly any Confederate like Robert E. Lee, all those have to be torn down. No regard for America's history, no regard for our past, no regard for our present, no regard for our future. Just do what I say. Now they're suddenly concerned about it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Thank you for being with us today. That winds it down. Mark Levin is coming up in just a moment or two. We'll be back tomorrow for a First Amendment Freestyle Friday. I so appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're listening and watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Perhaps you're listening on 99.7 FM or on the app. We thank you. For Ken Weaver in the Super Talk 99.7 WTN newsroom and Jackson Williams, I'm Matt Murphy. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.